This is News Radio WHOP AM Hopkinsville and WHOP HD3 Hopkinsville.
It's time for Hoptown Hoppers baseball. This Hoppers on Radio broadcast is brought to you by Service One Credit Union, Southern States Petroleum, Raymond Nelson Insurance, Bayard Wealth Management, All Clean Services and AKS Flooring and Design Center, McGee Pest Control, Hopkinsville Milling Company, J. Schrecker Jewelry, Arby's, Hoptown Hoppers, TGASK, Hayes Furniture, Penny Law Electric, Max Arnold and Sons, Planners Bank, and Huggett Beard and Giles Funeral Home. Now let's head to the stadium for all the action.
And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Jamar Perkins joined by Ethan Alexander here covering some Hoppers baseball as the second game of the season taking on the Paducah Chiefs here starting in about 15 minutes. But I wanted to talk to you, Ethan. Yesterday's game, obviously not the result that they would have wanted. 13-6 was the loss against the Bowling Green Pistons. But what was your kind of thoughts after that game?
Well, always you take those losses early in the season with a grain of salt. You'd much rather lose right now than in the playoffs or later part of the season. So last night we saw the coaches checking out as many players as they could. We saw 6 pitchers. They want to see arms. They want to see hitters. So we saw a lot of guys, and some of the pitching faltered. Some of our defense faltered, and that's what happens when you get here and these guys don't know each other and they're still trying to build chemistry. But, you know, you hope to come out here tonight and get a new look.
And you talk about that too. You were there this morning at the Early Bird Morning Show when we talked to you and Jacob Dilday, and you had mentioned that when it comes to building that chemistry, losses like that are important because it really can kind of band you together to say, okay, we need to do this, we need to work on that. So you kind of obviously don't want to lose in that first game of the season, but you use that L to kind of turn it into a W in a sense of the mindset in that.
Yeah, because a lot of times when you take a loss like that, especially a hard one where you go up early in the game and then the other team ends up having several good innings and come back and win, that can almost start a rallying cry for a team. Make things a little bit more serious. These guys could have been coming out here expecting to win every game. They don't know how good these teams are from across the state. So they see a team like that come in wearing practice jerseys. They don't have a field, and they're not too sure how good they are, but they come in and they beat the brakes off of them. That could, get a team serious about the season.
And again, too, this is Coach Alvin coaching this team right now. Coach E.J. Davari has prior duties with the University of Indianapolis as they're competing in the D2 World Series. I did talk to Coach Alvin, and we'll hear that in the dugout, but it was mentioned that Davari was kind of sending some texts, and he was sending multiple texts throughout the game. So that was definitely a part of it as well. So I'm sure he'll probably be sending some texts after watching as well. But we do have that dugout show, and it's brought to you by the Barbecue Shack, offering catering and custom cooking. Visit them Wednesday and Thursday, 10 a.m. to 5:30 p.m., Thursday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., and Saturday, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m., 4687 Pembroke Road in Hopkinsville. When we come back, we'll hear from the Coach Alvin. Get the coach's comments after this break.
No matter what you've been through, All Clean to the rescue.
So why should you choose All Clean Services? They offer prompt 24/7 response. They're licensed, insured, and bonded. They're experienced at working with insurance companies. They're professional and courteous. Look them up today at allcleanservices.com.
Putting your world back together. All Clean.
At Herb Hayes Furniture and Mattress, we don't sell furniture. Well, not really. We will help you find the styles and the fabrics for the furniture that will help you transform your house into a home. Whether it's helping you find the coziest bed or the sofa you'll love relaxing on while binge watching your favorite TV show, we'll find just the right fit for you. At Herb Hayes Furniture and Mattress, where you always get the best selection, the best furniture at the best price on the Boulevard in Hopkinsville.
Herb Hayes Furniture, always the best.
News Radio WHOP.
Perkins here with interim coach Mike Albin for the Hoptown Hoppers. How you doing today, Coach?
I'm doing pretty good, thanks.
So I wanted to ask, what was the message to the players after last night's loss? Obviously, you may not tell us everything, but what was kind of said during that huddle after the game?
Most of what we talked about is the energy in the dugout. We weren't very energized, and we weren't really supporting our team, and we were kind of quiet, like, crickets, just nobody really chirping, nobody really talking, nobody being really supportive.
So I'd say that's a pretty easy solution for tonight, and I'm assuming we expect more energy from the dugout then after that speech.
Absolutely.
And so I wanted to mention to you earlier, Jacob Dilday joined us on the Early Bird Morning Show, and he mentioned that when he was pitching that Coach EJ Davari sent a text to kind of get him out of the game. So I was curious about how often is Coach Davari kind of doing the remote coaching as far as texting wise?
Coach Davari is doing a lot of remote texting, and keeping an eye on what's going on and telling us what he wanted.
Well, Coach, so these players have been playing 3 games in a row a lot for their college seasons, and I know you have a nice sized roster, but as far as maintaining attrition, how is that done with these players?
Well, this whole season is going to be about staying healthy and trying to get guys in. Last night was more of a see who we got, see what we got going in a live situation, and that'll pretty much be the same kind of method we choose tonight and probably the next few games going forward until everybody's kind of an idea of what we want, where we're going to put them, and what we're looking for.
Coach Balin White on the mound, we saw the starting lineups. What can you tell us about him?
Not much. He's gonna, he's an Oklahoma kid. He's gonna come in. He's gonna hopefully throw hard and command the zone and take care of this game. Probably gonna go about 3 to 4 innings tonight. Similar to what we did last night, and see if the bullpen comes out better tonight.
Again, Jamar Perkins with Mike Albin. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
There's a lot that goes into planning a funeral, but making those arrangements beforehand gives you time to consider all your options. At Huggett Beard and Giles Funeral Home, we know that honesty and integrity in the pre-planning process is essential. Give us a call at 270-886-9451 to learn about our funeral pre-planning services.
At TGASK, we take a lot of pride and a lot of time building a world-class facility for the safety and comfort of our workers. Straight shifts mean life balance to our nearly 10,000-person workforce across the United States. Our benefits packages can add $7 per hour to our competitive wage structure. Ready for a little balance in your life? Visit workfortg.com and apply today.
News Radio WHOP.
And welcome back here inside Christian County Field. The Hoptown Hoppers hosting the Paducah Chiefs in the second game of the season. Jamar Perkins joined by Ethan Alexander. Ethan, a game where you hope to turn things around if you're the Hoppers. Like we already mentioned multiple times, that you look at last game's loss, you don't really think about it too long, especially when you talk about you got after this game now making this you got 3 games in a row after that. So you have a lot of time to turn things around. We just listened to Coach Albin. He mentioned about switching things around, but excited to see what happens here in this ball game. We're going to take a quick time out and check the game time weather.
Here's your WHOP Weather Center forecast. Lows dip down to about 62 tonight under clear skies.
And welcome back to Christian County Field. The Hoptown Hoppers set to take on the Paducah Chiefs. And the national anthem just sang by Callie Haley, 2023 graduate of Todd County High School. And as well, want to shout out the first pitch being thrown by 4-year-old Stella Grace, the daughter of Vinny and Whitley Grace. And we want to go ahead and get into the starting lineups, brought to you by Riken Elastomers. Join the Riken Elastomers team with process operator starting pay at over $18 an hour and an excellent benefit package that includes employee paid benefits. Call 270-475-2150, extension 214 to learn more. And I want to start off with the Paducah Chiefs. First off for them will be Will Gibbs. He'll be playing at second base. Then after that, Sammy Kinstranek and Ben Brombaugh, will be getting the third batter. Christian Beal after that. Noah Boone, the designated hitter. Gage Griggs will be playing at third base. The first baseman, Andrew Bournes, after that. Luke Diamond, the catcher, will be batting in the 8th hole. And then finishing things out will be Gunnar Bingham in center field. Pitching for the Chiefs today will be Jacob Overbeck. And for the Hoppers, starting things off, Kaito Muto will be the second baseman tonight. John Keebler will be playing the shortstop position. Robert Estrada in right field. Fred Fernandez playing catcher. Carter Hood and third base. The designated hitter for today batting in the 6th hole spot, Reed Douglas. Dom Oliviero will be playing in left field. The 8th hole hitter, Manuel Villalobos, playing at first base. And Sam Perkins will be out in center field. Pitching for the Hoppers is Balin White on the mound. And Balin White is coming out of Eastern Oklahoma State. And he's from Seminole, Oklahoma. And he's a freshman pitcher. And again, Jamar Perkins joined by Ethan Alexander. And just looking over at it, I think we do have a pitch radar for the game today. As I just looked over at Mr. Bruce Smiley, he showed 84. He's going to be working tonight, so I'll be counting on you, Ethan, to tell me some of those numbers.
Yeah, I'll do my best to get as many clocked in pitches as I can.
So the first pitch here is fouled off of the bat. It is game time here at Christian County Colonel Field. Again, Overbeck pitching for the Chiefs, but for the Hoppers right now, Balin White. 0-1 count after the foul pitch. Breaking ball is called a ball there. It looked a bit close, but that'll make it a 1-1 count. The 1-1 pitch. Another breaking ball. That one will be a strike. No swing down the middle there. Again, Will Gibbs at the plate, the second baseman. And pitch there is fouled behind the Hopper dugout.
Yeah, we're seeing some pretty pitches here from White. That first fastball was clocked in at 90 miles per hour, and then those two breaking balls had a ton of movement on it, so he's looking good so far.
In this game for the Hoppers is brought to you by United Southern Bank. And the food in today's game is brought to you by Judge John Atkins. So a ball there gets behind the catcher, so 2-2 count. Again, just started this ball game here, the first batter. And that shot is hit towards the first base. It'll be a line drive, a low line drive to Villalobos. And that will retire the first batter at the top of the first inning. There's a nice awareness and a catch there from Villalobos at first base.
Now batting shortstop number 2, Sammy Kinstranek.
So now Sam Kinstranek up to bat here. One out now. And wow, another breaking ball down the middle. And I'd reckon Balin White is showing what's in his bag so far with these pitches. And I think that might have been another one right there, Ethan.
Yeah, I mean,
2 strikes in a row now.
These are looking great. An inside source told me before this game that he has quite the bag of pitches, and it's looking like that is true.
And that's a low pitch there. So 1-2 the count. Again, Coach Albin had mentioned that he thinks he'll throw about 3 to 4 innings in this game. You'll see how that gets. There's a fly ball near right field. It's fair, but it's caught there. So back-to-back outs for the Chiefs. after that fly out to right field for the second out. And now Ben Brombaugh, the right fielder.
Yeah, and Estrada made that play. He had some fantastic defensive plays last night.
Brombaugh, he'll hit the first pitch. It'll be high there to Kaito Muto. He'll jump up for it at second base, and that will do it. As 3 batters came up and 3 were retired. No runs scored, no hits, no errors, and none left on base. Checking the manpower of Hopkinsville scoreboard. Still scoreless here after the top of the first. This is Hopper Baseball brought to you by Chick-fil-A.
Save the date for Penny Ryle Electric's Member Appreciation Days, where you're the guest of honor. Stop by and grab your free buckets and light bulbs as our way of saying thank you for more than 8 decades of friendship. Visit us in Paytas, June 12th, Hopkinsville, June 14th, Elkton, June 16th, Russellville, June 19th, and Lewisburg, June 21st. Follow Penny Ryle Electric on Facebook to stay up to date on upcoming events and outage information.
Max Oil & Sons is looking for experienced oil and fuel sales representatives to add to their growing team in Hopkinsville, Madisonville, Princeton, and Paducah areas. While previous sales experience is preferred, it's not a must. If you are self-motivated, disciplined, and highly energetic, they want to meet you. Max Arnold & Sons offers full health benefits, including dental and vision, as well as a 401k program. If you're interested in applying for this fabulous opportunity as a sales representative, find all the info about this fabulous opportunity on the Max's Facebook page.
News Radio WHOP.
Welcome back here to Christian County Field. Hoptown Hoppers taking on the Paducah Chiefs here after the top of the first. There was 3 up and 3 down for the Chiefs. Now Hoppers up to bat, and they'll lead off with Kaito Muto, shortstop / second baseman from Bowling Green, Kentucky. And when you look at the college he goes to, it does open your eyes a bit, as he's an incoming freshman heading to Vanderbilt. And again, on the mound for the Chiefs, Jacob Overbeck. As the first pitch here is a bit high there, call it a ball. And a thing about Muto as well, I noticed looking at this practice, he is a switch hitter, as he showed bunt there but took it away after a high throw there to make it 2 balls.
Yeah, and Muto, one of our only, I believe, 2 incoming freshman players on this team.
The other, Elijah Underhill, headed to Eastern Kentucky, local. That called a strike there. 2 balls and 1 strike here. Here in the bottom of the first inning. Close pitch there, just a bit high. Looked inside, but just a little too high. So 3-1 count now. Again, Muto at the plate. And Muto tries to walk to first, but no. That's called a strike there to make the count full.
Yeah, and he did the same thing yesterday. That's a sneaky little move, walking to first before that call's made.
And now he will walk to first as another high pitch is thrown to advance Muto after the walk there. Now next up to bat, John Keebler. He started in yesterday's game too, a freshman out of Southeastern Illinois College, originally from Paducah, Kentucky. Don't know how that happened, but I'm glad he picked the Hoppers over the Chiefs, being from Paducah. So runner on first base. First pitch called a ball there. And Muto was walked after the full count pitch. And a 1-0 count. That's a ball as well. Looks like Muto has a decent lead off at first too, as he might be showcasing some speed throughout this season. 2-0 is your count. They're showing bunt. Muto's going to go, as I say that, a high go, and it's out of the glove. Muto advances to second. He's going to go ahead and go to third after the center fielder bobbles it, and he will advance to third there. And it was Brombaugh out there. It went past the second base. He kind of picked it up, and ball maybe was a little wet there. It was struggled to pick it up there. So a stolen base from Muto, but an error will advance him to third.
Yeah, and the Hoppers already in a pretty advantageous position here early in the game.
I like that word, advantageous. That's the analyst vocabulary showing right there.
I try to keep my, I'll throw another one in there. I try to keep my lexicon pretty advanced.
So 3-1 the count now. The pitch is hit off of the bat there. So we've got a full count here. So back-to-back full counts here after Muto had one. Again, Keebler at the plate. The pitch, that one hit towards first. He'll dive for it. He can't get past it. A run will score, and Keebler gets the base hit. And credit the RBI there from Keebler. And you talk about starting off strong, and you talk about the stolen base, and then that error there, just a nice piece of hitting from Keebler to put it where it needed to be.
Yeah, I mean, that ball was hit perfectly right past the first baseman's glove. Exactly what they needed.
And so now Robert Estrada, again, another one of those players that started yesterday back in the lineup. High pitch to him there is called a ball.
Yeah, and a day like yesterday, whenever the defense wasn't doing too great, led to some runs, Robert Estrada was pretty solid.
And he'll hit that ball fouled behind home plate to make it a 1-1 count. Robert Estrada from Keystone College. He's a junior, utility player. He's been playing right field for the Hoppers out of Jersey City, New Jersey. So 1 ball, 1 strike, a runner on first. That's Keebler there. Second pitch, that one is chopped near third base. It will be fair, and the third baseman fumbles it there, as that was Griggs trying to get under the ball and lost it. I'm not sure if it would have gotten there to begin with.
I would say probably not. He was moving.
As we'll see. Like I said, I like to wait for the other guys to see what they call sometimes, to see if we call that error, because I think Estrada would have got there regardless, whether if Griggs fumbled it. But regardless, Keebler advances to second. And so I do think they're calling it a base hit. So we will do the same there from Estrada. Nice chopper to third. Now Fred Fernandez is at the plate. He'll hit one near center field. That's a base hit. And coming in, as the ball gets past the runner there, and it looks like 2 runs are going to come to score. They're coming home. It's going to be close, and he is tagged out there. So Estrada is tagged out. He's saying, no way, bro. I could read his lips to the umpire. Now Keebler does score, but Estrada is called out, and coming out quickly is Coach Albin, as I don't think he likes that call. He might have got a good look at it, and the Hopper fans do not like it as well.
Not at all. And that was a very wild play in general. The center fielder fumbles another ball there, which led to Robert Estrada even thinking about going home, and then that was a very close play at the plate.
Fans are saying the catcher is laughing. They don't think that he knew that he got it there. But so now 1 out here after Estrada was tagged out at home. And a base hit from Fred Fernandez there.
Yeah, pretty good piece of hitting there from Fred. That ball was pieced.
So Carter Hood now batting, another player from Southeastern Illinois College out of Newburgh, Indiana. And he'll foul off the pitch behind home plate in that first one. So an 0-1 count, 2-0 now the score after 2 runs scored in this bottom of the first. 1 out, a runner on first. And they'll throw over to first. That's Fred Fernandez at the plate. And I think he tried to steal a base yesterday and ended up getting, actually, I think he did get caught. We'll check that.
Yeah, he got picked off his second.
I think he did get picked off his second. And that ball's fouled towards the screen by the Hoppers bleachers. So 0-2 the count now. Again, Carter Hood at the plate. The 0-2 is a high ball there to make it 1-2. Getting Fernandez just had the base hit there to give him an RBI, almost 2, and a swing and a miss there. The ball is loose though, and they'll just call it a strikeout there on Carter Hood. So that's the second out of the inning. Now Reed Douglas coming out to some Billie Jean, his walkout music. And Douglas from Rossville, Indiana, currently attending Hanover College. Normally will play catcher, but he's at the designated hitter now. And he is first pitch hit there, I believe right on the left backside area.
Yeah, and then he joked as he made it to first base and acted like that ball hurt a little bit more than I think it did.
So Fernandez will advance to second. So now 2 outs here. And now the 7th batter in the lineup, Dom Oliverio, will be at the plate. And Dom from Fishers, Indiana, and going to Indiana State. He's a freshman. So 2 outs here, runners on first and second. First pitch is chopped but fouled. So an 0-1 count here. As again, I'm sure you can hear it over the air. Have a decent breeze here at the field. As soon as I say that, I think it slows down. I think I should start talking about the wind more. So 0-1 at the count here with 2 outs. Runners on first and second. Hoppers have scored 2 runs already in this first inning, make it a 2-0 ball game. The pitch will go towards second base. They'll try to get there. They can't. And it looks like Fernandez is going to stay at third. So that'll load the bases. The base hit there from Oliverio loads up the bases there.
Yeah, and you have to think Fred, as he was turning third base, was thinking about getting picked off yesterday. Maybe didn't want to have that happen to him again.
And you're right, that might have been what did it. But regardless, now we have the bases loaded here with 2 outs, and Manuel Villalobos is up to bat with the bases loaded. 2 outs here. First pitch is high. Called a ball. And Villalobos is from St. Joseph, Michigan. And that pitch is hit towards left field. It won't be fielded, so it'll bring in at least 1 run. I think it's definitely going to bring in 2. Runners going to third. They'll try to tag him. And they do tag them. Did the run score at home, though? I know the first one did, as Fernandez came in, but did Douglas score? So they're going to say Douglas did not score. And fans don't like it. I don't know. I think he might have been tagged before.
Well, the Hoppers
before Douglas. I mean, they had a better look for me. They're right. A couple of these fans are right behind home plate. I was kind of looking at the tag, and someone says, I got the video. Can you pull up the replay on there? They might need it.
And they are going to be meeting up to discuss it because.
So as of right now, only 1 run scored. We definitely have the 3rd out, but it's a matter of did that run score for Douglas? And we kind of want to wait and see what they say before we go to break. No run scores. That's the confirmed call there.
Yeah, and I have a feeling this umpire is not going to get the love of the fans tonight. There's already been 2 calls that they definitely did not agree with, at the plate for that matter.
And so that makes it 5 hits. We have 2 errors in that inning with 1 left on base. And 3 runs are scored. Checking the manpower of Hopkinsville scoreboard. The Hoptown Hoppers at the end of the first lead the Chiefs 3-0. This is Hopper Baseball brought to you by Chick-fil-A.
Untangling your headphones, finding the right remote, saying goodbye to your feet.
News Radio WHOP.
Welcome back here. First pitch just thrown here to Christian Beal. That was a strike. No swing. And now that's a high ball there. 1 ball and 1 strike. And that foul ball is hit way behind the visiting bleachers. Want to note too, it looks like we heard it earlier in pregame, but it's confirmed the Chiefs walkout music. We've got some old, nice Disney princess music. I'm sure they're enjoying that. As that pitch is hit near center field, it'll try to be tracked down, and it is there. So the first batter there is out.
Yeah, and I think it's important to mention that the Chiefs are getting pretty good contact on these balls. They just happen to be hitting them directly into gloves, but they've definitely gotten some pretty good hit balls so far in this game.
That's Perkins there in outfield with that grabbing. I want to correct myself, not just Disney Princess. That's some Pixar right there. I spot some Toy Story there. As that first song was Let It Go from Frozen. That breaking ball is called a ball there. Noah Boone, designated hitter, at the plate. Again, pitching is Balin White for the Hoppers. A second pitch called ball there. And again, 3-0 after the Hoppers score 3 runs in that first inning. And a great start to this ball game here. So 2-1 after the strike call. And a close one, but they'll call that a ball just outside, the ump says.
And just like I said earlier, the fans not big fans of this umpire after those
I was
two
going to say,
calls
definitely a lot more
inning.
vocal than it was yesterday's game.
Yeah,
That's a swing and a miss there. 3-2. The count here with 1 out. And that's an outside pitch there, low and outside. That will advance Noah Boone. And up to bat now, number 1, Gage Griggs. Griggs from Calvert City, coming out of John A. Logan. She'll play shortstop and second base. And that pitch is loose. No, it hit the batter beforehand, though.
Yeah, that was a scary one. Hit him on the helmet.
So Griggs will advance to first, while Boone advances to second. First pitch, a hit by pitch there. And so now runners on first and second here with 1 out. Andrew Burns, is up to bat. He goes to Liberty University, and he's from Lynchburg, Virginia, too. So 1 out here, runners on first and second. Breaking ball called a strike there. Clip the outside corner, low there.
And that pitch very similar to 2 that got called balls just a moment ago, and fans are letting them know.
You know, I wasn't going to say it, but you're probably right there. Again, runners on first and second, 1 out. White on the mound there. That pitch is called a ball. Similar to that spot, but a little bit more outside and low there for that pitch to make it a ball. Again, 3-0. Hoppers lead the Chiefs here in the top of the second. The pitch. That ball, it will be hit high near left field. And it is dropped there. So we'll have a runner coming in, and it'll be load the bases up.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure if the left fielder could have seen that ball. He looked like he was blocking it with his other hand, blocking the sun with his other hand. So
that was Oliverio there.
And what happened there?
And a tough grab there. I think he literally put his hand up at first to see, try to get a gauge on it. So, and it was a very high hit as well.
Yeah, we saw one like that yesterday, which ended up going over the fence for a home run. So that's always scary when that ball gets hit over to the left side of this field. But again, I think that Oliverio was blocking out the sun with his other arm and missed that ball, try to catch it at his hip.
And so Coach Albin is coming into infield to have a meeting with his players now in a sticky situation here with the bases loaded with 1 out. And up to bat will be Luke Diamond.
Yeah, and you don't want something similar that happened yesterday to happen again tonight whenever the team goes up early and then gives up a lot of runs in 1 inning. You want to go ahead and stop the bleeding before it gets started.
For sure. And Luke Diamond out of Smyrna, Tennessee, plays catcher. And out of Lincoln Memorial, right-handed batter. So runners on first, second, and third here with 1 out. 3-0 the score. Hoppers lead in the top of the second. The pitch. Breaking ball will get loose there. A runner will try to come from third, and he will make it. And so the first run scored there as Noah Boone will come in after the wild pitch. And so now Griggs will advance to third base, and Burns advances to second now. And the first pitch, a ball there. So still a lead here, 3-1. Hoppers. The pitch, fastball, hits the outside low corner there, make it 1-1 the count. Like you mentioned, it was in yesterday's game as that ball is chopped near first base, and it is caught there with no movement from players. They couldn't. Just a chopper to first base there. Excuse me, a line drive, you could call it. I don't know if you'd use that word.
Undercut ball.
Yes, and it went straight to Villalobos for the outs. And they couldn't move any of the infield players. That's a perfect hit there if you're the Hoppers. And that first pitch is called a ball. Gunnar Bingham is at the plate, left-handed batter. And that pitch is fouled behind home plate into the field. Better at that behind the booth. 1 ball, 1 strike here. 2 outs. And that's a low pitch there, called a ball. 2 balls, 1 strike. Runners on second and third. Hoppers lead 3-1 as the Chiefs just scored a run a few moments ago. Outside breaking ball makes it a 3-1 count. And Bingham, last batter in this lineup. It'll be Gibbs up next if the Chiefs can get on base. That's a strike there in the mid-outside area there. Makes the count full, 3-2 here. Again, Gunnar Bingham, Murray State at the plates. And that's a high ball there inside, so that will walk Bingham. And that will load the bases up here. Back at the top of the lineup for the Chiefs is Will Gibbs is at the plate. He lined out to Villalobos at first in the first inning. And now Gibbs will go towards second place, and it goes right in the glove of Muto. He barely had to move there. So a line drive to second, and that's the 3rd out there. And checking what went down in that second inning. Looks like we had 1 error. No hits. 3 left on base. And 1 run scored. And checking the manpower of Hopkinsville scoreboard, Hoppers still lead 3-1 heading to the bottom of the second. This is Hopper Baseball, brought to you by Chick-fil-A.
Whether it's Planters Bank's main campus in downtown Hopkinsville,
WHOP.
The second pitch there is called a strike. And so 1 ball, 1 strike here. Perkins is at the plate for the Hoppers, and he'll hit that one in between the shortstop and the third baseman for a base hit. And he'll stay at first. So Perkins will start things off here in the bottom of the second there with the base hit. And the Hoppers doing very well hitting here.
Yeah, so far the offense has been leaps and bounds better than what we saw early in the game yesterday from Hoptown.
And we have a runner going to second there. It's thrown, and he is tagged out there as Perkins quickly comes off of the bases there after the first pitch stolen base, or a stolen base attempt, should I say. So that'll be the first out. And it's 1 ball, no strikes for Muto. He was walked in the first inning. Again, Muto, the incoming transfer, or excuse me, incoming freshman to Vanderbilt. He swings and misses there to make it 1-2, or 1-1, excuse me. As he'll hit there, a base hit right towards center field. And back-to-back base hits for the Hoppers. That puts Muto at first. Again, Perkins tried to steal on that first pitch, so he was tagged out at second. So now it's just one runner on base with 1 out. And John Keebler, he had a base hit in the first inning. He'll come here to bat in the second inning.
Keebler with the RBI in the first inning, so we'll see what he can do here after that.
And an outside pitch there called a strike. Low. There's Keebler. Gets the strike called. And they'll try to throw to first. Muto has a strong leadoff. Almost got caught there. So 1 ball, 1 strike.
Hoppers keeping the catcher on his toes early in this one.
And Muto will go, but it is a foul ball. So 1 ball, 2 strikes here now. Again, Keebler at the plate. Pitching is Jacob Overbeck for the Chiefs. The 1-2 pitch. That ball's high there. To give it a 2-2 count. And Muto will go towards first as Overbeck tries to get him out. Again, 3-1 the score here. Hoppers lead the Chiefs. 3 runs scored in that first inning for the Hoppers, just 1 here in the second. As Muto will go, they'll throw, and they'll call safe there as Muto makes it in time. Very close there.
Yeah, I think that ball actually beat Muto to the plate, but he made a pretty nifty move to get around that second baseman.
So now a runner in scoring position is Muto, and you can tell by their leadoff, and I think he'll be one of those players that find themselves trying to steal often. So now 3-2 is the count, and Keebler will foul behind him to keep the count full. Again, 1 out here, runner on second. 3-1 the score. Hoppers lead here on the bottom of the second inside Christian County Field. The pitch is fouled near third base.
Yeah, and if we remember in that first inning, Muto tried to steal second. The catcher threw the ball over the second baseman, got bobbled in the outfield, and that ended up putting him on third base, which ended up in a run, which was RBI'd by Keebler.
I want to mention, too, the Ohio Valley League president, John Bruce, will be joining us in the third inning. Just talk some things about the league. And that ball is chopped near second. It'll be fielded, thrown, and it is caught there. As Muto will advance to third there. But Keebler is out. That's the second out. And Estrada is now at the plate. He also had a base hit. There was 3 base hits in a row from Keebler, Estrada, and Fernandez. Estrada being that second one in the first inning. So now 2 outs here, runner on third. The pitch is fouled behind the screen, behind home. Again, Estrada from Keystone College, from Jersey City, New Jersey. Long way from Kentucky.
Hoptown's a little bit of a change, I would say so.
For sure. As that ball is chopped and right on the home plate, so it'll be called a foul. And quickly, Estrada finds himself behind in an 0-2 count with Muto at third base here with 2 outs. 3-1 the score, Hoppers in control. And that's a high pitch there, tracked down by Diamond behind the plate. So 1 ball, 2 strikes here. The pitch is outside as well, and once again, Diamond has to get behind it.
Yeah, Diamond doing a really good job. After that wild throw in the first inning, he's been pretty solid.
And so 2 balls and 2 strikes here, 2 outs. A runner on third. The pitch. That one hit near center field. If we try to get tracked down, and it drops, and a run scores. Muto will come in for the 4th run of the ball game, and the base hit is credited to Estrada. He's 2 for 2 now in this ball game. And one thing Coach Albin talked about, asked him what he was talking to his players about after the game, was the energy in the locker room. He basically said it was terrible, wasn't much. He used the word crickets. And maybe these players not knowing each other might be a factor in that, but he definitely said that it was a focal point in this game. And that pitch is hit straight to the pitcher, and he'll hit him, but he'll be able to field it there for the 3rd out as Fred Fernandez lined it straight to the pitcher.
Yeah, and that definitely didn't feel good. The pitcher with a slow first step off the mound after that happened. I don't think he was, and obviously most people don't, expecting that ball to come straight at him, especially on the first pitch.
And so after that inning, that was 1 hit there. No errors, 1 left on base, and a 1 run scored there for the Hoppers. Checking the Manpower of Hopkinsville scoreboard, Hoppers lead the Chiefs 4-1 here. This is Hopper Baseball, brought to you by Chick-fil-A.
Beard, and Giles. Thanks again, and go Hoppers.
News Radio WHOP.
And welcome back here to Christian County Colonel Field as the Hoppers lead the Paducah Chiefs 4-1 here, and I have being pleasure to be joined by the president of the Ohio Valley League, John Bruce. How you doing today, sir?
Outstanding. We're at the baseball field.
Yes, sir.
It's a beautiful day. The game is 4-1. Oh, yeah. This is what it's about.
A lot of action early, too, as well, as at the plate, Sammy Kinsterneck will be at the plate. And you talk about that. So we kind of talked before this, baseball being a passion of yours. Explain that passion and how it kind of started for you.
Well, of course, I started playing a long time ago. It's just grown with me. I've stayed with it forever. I love the game itself. The game is a great metaphor for life because there's so much to it. Big swing and a miss. So now it's 2-1.
Sir.
But that's just part of it. It's such a metaphor for life. Foul away 2-2. And because of it. It's also a very mental game. It's a physical game. You have to have skills to do it, but it's a very mental game because it's a failure game. You know, you've reached the major leagues and you failed to get on base 7 out of 10 times, and you're a Hall of Famer. Check swing. Okay, 3-2. So that's really important to me. It is. It just makes such an impact because it takes everybody to play the game. No one can win by themselves.
That ball hit towards first base. Villalobos is there. He'll wave off the pitcher and run it in himself. Tag first plate there as Villalobos does it himself for the first out in that inning.
Like, you can be the greatest pitcher on the face of the earth, but if you don't have somebody behind the plate to catch it, it doesn't do you any good. And same thing, every position has a role to play in this game.
And so with the league this year, what are some things you're kind of excited about that you've seen so far already or that you're expecting in this league for this season?
This is be my 9th season around the Ohio Valley League Baseball. And every year the talent gets a little better, the competition gets a little better. And to me, that's a great thing. As we've added some teams, they bring in better talent, which causes the other teams to have to go recruit better talent. Foul back, so now we're 1-2.
And Ben Brumbaugh at the plate. And so I wanted to talk to you too, looking at what you've done so far. You started off with the Hoppers. Now I know you being the president, it can't be too biased, but there has to be some kind of love for the Hoppers, you'd say, right?
Well, obviously I'm exposed to the media since I live here as well. And so I catch that as part of it. And for 4 years, I was the face of the Hoppers here locally. So there are still a ton of people that ask me, well, how's this year's team going to be? Well, I don't know anymore because I don't recruit that team anymore. So there is some of that, the affinity for it. I love the game so much. He's worked the count to full now, 3-2. But in doing so, I really like the fact that the game's just getting better and better. Better competition. You see, there's a great crowd here.
As that's a base hit past the shortstop there, is Brumbaugh will advance to first there for the base hit. Now 1 out and on deck to bat. Christian Beal is at the plate. He had a fly ball out to center field in the second inning, excuse me.
In progress of the game itself and the levels that we play, you can see the talent improvement, and that's a big deal for me. If you look at what people don't realize is the huge developmental difference between the guy coming right out of high school and the guy who's 20, 21 years old.
Yes, sir.
It's huge.
Yes, sir. Mr. Bruce, you spent 22 years in the military. Is that correct? So how is that like? You get out of the military and then you get involved in something like this. What is that kind of, how did you get into this just to start as far as being in the OVL?
Well, wow, this is a long story. But
hey, we got time.
All right. I had recently, my wife, I was wandering around. I didn't have a job. I was looking for something else to do. And a casual conversation with the guy who's the president of the Hoppers now. I've known Charlie Henderson for a long time. And we had a conversation, and he asked me if I would be interested in being the new GM of the Hoppers. So that's all the way back in 2015. 2014, actually. So we talked about it some more, looked at it, and then myself and a man by the name of Trey Porras became the coach that year. Coach Porras is now at Wharton Junior College. He's the head coach down there. At the time, he was a graduate assistant at University of New Mexico. So, a long story. So we recruited. That first year was a pretty brutal season, the 2015 season, because we both got hired basically the 1st of January. And if you start recruiting the 1st of January, you are way behind the power curve. He worked there for a 4-pitch walk?
Yes, 4-pitch walk. Beal advances to first. Brumbaugh will go to second here with 1 out. Now Noah Boone up to bat.
So that's how I got here. Like I said, the first season was pretty brutal. I mean, we played and we were not very good. But that's motivation to go work harder because in August is when you start recruiting next year's team. And we did. We worked really hard at it, and the 2016 team is the one that went 33-9. And we're set up to do lots of other things, but rain got the tournament. We actually put that on the OVL trophy, the traveling trophy, because Mother Nature won in the 2016 postseason because it rained out, and then just continued to rain.
And so running this league too, you talk about the 2020. What was that like having, sit out a year, of course, with COVID?
Oh, well, that was a heartbreak. Yeah. Because, at that point, everybody, it's just like every college baseball season. Everybody's you've done all the work, you've got everything ready to go, and basically the 1st of May is when we canceled the season for the coming year. And it's like, wow, because it's just tough. That's all there is to it. But like everybody else, there were very few people that got to play. Swing and a miss.
A strikeout there as Boone is retired. Again on the mound, Balin White for the Hoppers.
But it's a much different perspective. The league has grown, and there are growing pains that go with that. When you grow, things as you add in new teams that make it interesting and challenging at the same time. Unfortunately, we lost a team this year.
Yeah. I was going to ask you about that Owensboro. So it's the situation there. I know you posted something on the website, but for people who don't know, what happened there?
Oh, there's a plethora of things that happen and seem to come down all at once, but they built up over time, obviously. But then the last straw was when they lost a playing location there in Owensboro, and they went to look at other places, and there just wasn't another field available on short notice to play in the summer. So all of a sudden last Friday, a week ago today, they can't play. So we tried some other things, looked at some other options, tried to absorb those guys. Now the only good part is every one of those players that was coming to Owensboro either has a home in the OBL or has already moved to something else. So that became important to us. We have a commitment to these guys to play. And when you get that close, now what are you going to do? So, three players went to this team and two players went to this team. So they moved around and were absorbed by the rest of the league. That's the good part. The bad part is there are places that are going to lose home games now because they can't play.
Yeah.
And that'll happen throughout the season. Just like if you look at the Hoppers schedule, you'll find that whenever they're supposed to play Owensboro, guess what? You now have a day off, whatever day of the week that happens to be. And it's not evenly distributed. The Northern Division play each other 5 times. The Southern Division does the same. And then you play the other division 3. So it's not a split number. So all the teams in the North have lost 5 games this year. All the teams in the Southern Division just lost 3. So instead of playing 43 games, they're going to play 38. Or in the South Division, they'll play 40. And that's before any rain comes.
Yeah.
If it rains, that just obviously makes another issue. But
so is there anything more that needs to be done now when you talk about that as far as games have changed now? I guess it's I wouldn't say good, but you talk about South Division, they'll all play the same amount of games still. So that still changes, correct?
That's correct.
Is there anything that will change as far as seeding or anything goes?
The only thing we're looking at now is because the Northern Division is losing 5 games, to try to make up 1 or 2 of those games, we have Mondays off scheduled to be rain dates. So we're looking at maybe if you were scheduled like the team that was supposed to play, if they're both Northern Division teams, if you were supposed to play Owensboro on Sunday and then the other guy is supposed to play them on Tuesday, maybe you two play on Monday and then you both get a day off.
Okay.
Almost same time. So we're looking through that. Honestly, just haven't had time to evaluate all that yet. But it'll have to happen fast.
So you talk about a team that unfortunately had to leave. Is that high pitches?
Ball 4.
We'll call a ball 4, and it'll load the bases here.
Here we are. Bases loaded.
Bases loaded here. 2 outs. And a 4-1 ball game if you're just joining us here in the top of the 3rd inning. But talk about a team leaving, and then, of course, a new team being added this year, the Clarksville Whirlybirds.
Right.
And, Clive, from Clarksville, that city's growing, so what better than to have a OVL team? How did that happen?
Well, as we've looked for different places that are interested in expanding the team, that was one of them that popped up. The ball's outside, so ball one. We'll keep up here since we got the bases loaded.
No, I appreciate it.
We're looking at different places. There's always one or two. There's a couple that have talked about attempting to join the league next year. Foul ball. So 1-1. But as we've looked at the coming year and even years out, do you expand? At what point does expansion change the operating model? As in right now, everybody goes home every night. And if you get the geography too much more expansive than it is, you have to, strike.
Right down the middle there.
1 ball, 2 strike. Little up in the zone, batter challenged the idea. Confirming with the umpire that was high, that was in the top of the zone. But like I said, the long for me, way back when, I played first base as a left-handed guy. I played first base, and I could pitch.
Left-handed, did you ever get into pitching? You did.
I did, however, I'm the guy that when the catcher, foul out of play, when the catcher advised you not to dig in, he's doing you a favor, because I could throw the ball. And I played for a small high school. The baseball coach was really the football coach. Okay, he was there to babysit people who wanted to play baseball. So I could throw the ball. I could throw the ball hard, but I could hit the mascot. Strike 3. I'll bring it out.
That will do it. That will retire the Chiefs there as they finished that inning with 1 hit, no errors, none left, or 3 left on base, and no runs scored. Checking the Manpower of Hopkinsville scoreboard, the Hoptown Hoppers lead at the Paducah Chiefs 4-1. We'll be right back with more Hopper baseball brought to you by Chick-fil-A, and we'll talk more with OVL President John Bruce.
We have
7 seconds here.
And we're ready to serve you today. News Radio WHOP.
Welcome back to Hoptown Hopper baseball here. As here tonight, they lead the Paducah Chiefs here, heading to the bottom of the 3rd, 4-1. And first pitch there, Carter Hood was at bat, and he's hit right there near the shoulder, left shoulder. And he'll advance to first after that hit by pitch. Joined by OVL President John Bruce, and you were in the middle of talking about a story, your pitching career in the early days. Talk to us about that.
Like I said, I could throw the ball hard. I call it farm boy strong. But when the catcher advised don't dig in, because I was just as likely to throw 9 strikes and get 3 outs as I was to hit the next 5 batters in a row. If I hit you, you knew I hit you. So I could. That's my pitching career. I did every now and then. I would actually be called on to pitch an inning or 2 here and there, but no, I was not a pitcher. I was a thrower.
And so early we talked about, the growth of this league and what you're excited for. So at the end of the season, is there anything specifically that you'd like to say got better this year? I know you talked about the talent, but as far as the way the league runs or certain things like that, is there anything like that you're looking at? Or?
Well, let's see, that was low, so 1 ball, 2 strike. As the as the league, as a group, it was good to watch them try to solve this problem collectively. Because, I mean, obviously you've got this many different owners all outside, two and two. This many owners, and they're all moving in different directions. Every franchise has things that they do well and things that they need to improve on always. But collectively, they were trying to figure out how to fix this. That was a good thing.
And called out looking as Reed Douglas has a bit of a stare to the umpire there, but called a strikeout looking. Just might have clipped that inside corner. Hopper fans don't like it, but regardless, that is the first out here for the Hoppers. What do you think about that pitch? I don't know if you want to talk about the umpires here in the game.
I'll go back a couple plays. Remember in the second inning when he didn't allow the second run to score?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. There may have been only 2 people in the whole place that were watching the play at the plate and not the play at third where the guy was tagged out.
That's exactly what I told Ethan. Is I was looking at third, but
the only guy who might have been the first base umpire. But if you remember, the batter runner was going to second.
Mm-hmm.
He's trailing the runner, which is what he's supposed to do. But that's the old umpire in me. I did that for a number of years. But in doing so, like I said, he was standing there, and that's his only run. The runner coming from third, was basically in the right-handed batter's box when the tag was made. So he's right, not by a lot, but he was correct in his call.
Strike call there to make it 1-2, and I mean, that's the thing about coming to these home games. You're always going to get that. And,
absolutely.
I know you being an umpire, I'm sure you might have heard a thing or two being behind the plate. Now, what did you ump? Was it high school, or what did you do for umping?
I did high school baseball for a while, and then I did college baseball for 3 years.
As we'll have a stolen base attempt, he'll be tagged out there, and that will do it there.
We'll strike him out, throw him out.
Right, like you just said, strike and tagged out Carter Hood and a strikeout for Dom Olivero. And that will do it. I want to thank you, Mr. Bruce, for taking your time out to join us here and checking the manpower of Hopkinsville scoreboard. Heading to the top of the 4th inning, the Hoppers still lead the Chiefs 4-1. This is Hopper Baseball, brought to you by Chick-fil-A.
Thanks for the time.
News Radio WHOP.
And welcome back here in the top of the 4th inning. If you come in and you hear some applause, it's because Elijah Underhill just checked in on the mound, coming in for Valen White, the local, playing on his home field with Christian County. And he's going to Eastern Kentucky. And we've talked about it, he'll only be here for about half the season, as he'll have to report to Eastern Kentucky. So Hoppers using them while they can here. 4-1 is the score here in the top of the 4th. And coming in to bat, Luke Diamond will be at the plate. Luke Diamond from Smyrna, Tennessee, out of Lincoln Memorial College. And again, Underhill is on the hill. And I'm joined once again by Ethan Alexander. Talk to me about what you've been noticing in this game. You probably got to focus a little bit after he was talking to Mr. Bruce. What have you been seeing in that last inning specifically?
Well, I mean, the Hoppers defense has been playing great, and the Hoppers offense has been doing I would say great, but definitely better than yesterday. Just consistency is key, I think, for this team, both on offense and defense. Last inning, we saw a little bit of a shakeup from those first two, but I think the team is feeling pretty good so far in this game.
The 0-2 pitch is wild and way outside there. No runners on base, though, so Underhill had the leisure to do that. So now 1-2 is the count.
Yeah, and we saw Underhill actually batting yesterday, one of the two-way players on this game, on this team.
And another high ball there. So 2-2. Here's the pitch. And that nicks him in the back of the left knee there as Luke Diamond is hit, and he'll head to first base. So Diamond there, hit by pitch, will advance to first. And now the ninth hole batter, Gunnar Bingham, is at the plate. Now, from what you've seen, I know you've been clocking the pitches. What kind of numbers have you been seeing so far? I know we have a new pitcher here now, but.
Yeah, I haven't actually got the chance to clock in Elijah Underhill yet, but the pitcher for the Chiefs has been sitting around mid-80s throughout pretty much the entire game. And then Balin was jumping around all the way from the low 70s to the low 90s, so that was a different experience, I think, for these batters.
And they'll throw to first, try to get Luke Diamond. He makes it. So 0-1 the count here for Gunnar Bingham. And a runner on first. That ball was fouled behind the Chiefs dugout. So that makes it an 0-2 count. Again, 4-1, Hoppers the lead here in the top of the fourth. Underhill will throw to first as Diamond is good at first. Now, are you seeing any numbers for Underhill so far from what he's been throwing?
Yeah, that last pitch I clocked in at 88, so 88, that's where I'd probably guess he's going to be sitting around high 80s, low 90s. He throws it pretty hard.
And that pitch is close to in the dirt to make it a 1-2 count. And this is back-to-back times. Underhill's gotten ahead in the count at 0-2, now 1-2. And Gunnar Bingham at the plate. That ball is loose, wild pitch advancing to second will be Luke Diamond. And so Diamond advances after the wild pitch.
Yeah, and Underhill with a flurry of wild pitches here, and Coach Alvin and Fred Fernandez going to talk to him. When he gets it in that zone, it's almost guaranteed to be a strike, but he has thrown multiple to the backstop already.
And, I mean, when you talk about as much he's had high 80s, as much heat as he throws, that kind of comes sometimes when you're in that mode where you're trying to throw the ball. And maybe too, this is some chance at some college competition for Underhill. He just finished with high school, so now playing some more experienced batters might be, wanting to throw a little bit more speed than usual. As Coach Albin and the rest of the infield depart to their positions, Underhill will work a 2-2 count here with a runner on second and now after the wild pitch.
Yeah, and like you mentioned, I mean, you get to this higher level, you're playing these college players that you're not used to seeing. I mean, it has to be a little bit nerve-wracking, so maybe a first outing here with a little bit of jitters isn't too unexpected.
Runner on second, 2-2 count, no outs. The pitch is hit towards center field. It'll drop, and a runner from second will try to come home, and he will make it there. So Luke Diamond comes in and scores, and a base hit there from Bingham. And that will make it a 4-2 ball game now as the run scores for the Chiefs. Still no outs here with the runner on first. And now at the top of the lineup, Will Gibbs. He's had 2 infield line drives. It was a 1 to first in the first, and then a 1 to the second base and the second. And so a ball there was a low pitch, so 1-0 is your count. He'll try to throw to first, try to get him, and he's safe there is Bingham. And Bingham with that base hit and the RBI. Outside pitch as Fred Fernandez tracks that down. So 2 balls, no strikes here for Gibbs. Again, 4-2 the score. They'll throw it first again. That ball gets loose, but not loose enough. It'll keep Bingham at first. And we do have some throwing going on in the bullpen. And so that's an outside pitch to make it 3 balls and no strikes. And you know, the way they do it, the people catching for the pitchers, I believe they have their backs faced to us. So we can't see the jersey numbers for those players in the bullpen.
Yeah.
So that's called a strike there. You see you make out one?
I caught one, number 9, if you want to go ahead and check that one. I couldn't catch the other.
And that would be Jack Jennings. And that is a wild pitch there. And it'll also be a walk. So runner advances to second is Bingham. And Gibbs is walked. Will go to first. So still no outs here. Underhill with some work to do here with the runners on first and second. And up to bat now, Sammy Kinstranek.
Yeah, and he got 2 batters to 2 strikes, just couldn't finish them off.
And Kinstranek went 2 for 4 in last night's game for the Chiefs. Outside pitch there. So 1 ball, no strikes here. And it looks like Paducah did have some fans that traveled here. Once again, playing another red team back-to-back games, so hard to distinguish sometimes.
Yeah, it helps tonight that the Hoppers aren't wearing red themselves.
For sure. Just clips an outside corner there is Underhill with that strike. So 1 ball, 1 strike here. Again, 4-2 the score. Hoppers lead. Runners on first and second. No outs. The pitch. That one's fouled off to get Underhill ahead in the count. Makes it 1-2.
Yeah, and like you mentioned, the Chiefs do travel well. They're one of the teams in the league that consistently fills up their ballpark, so not too surprising to see a good amount of Chiefs fans here tonight.
So a 1-2 count. Again, runners on first and second. Underhill looks, he throws, and that's a wild pitch there. And it will just advance runners to second and third. Makes it a 2-2 count. That might be about the 4th wild pitch we've seen. I think it's the 2nd time it's advanced runners.
Yeah, after 3 innings of Fred Fernandez not having to do too much work, he's had to make quite a few runs back to the backstop, so definitely waking him up.
So runners on second and third now. The 2-2 pitch. That's outside as well, but it hits the backstop enough to come right back at Fernandez, and it prevents Bingham from coming home. So now full count here, and you wonder what kind of pitch is going to be thrown here from Underhill after he's tried the power and got way outside. Full count pitch here with runners on second and third. The pitch is outside as well. And Coach Albin stands up, and I think we might have a sub here after the bases are loaded here with no outs. So Kinstranek will advance to first. Runners were already on second and third after the wild pitch. And I think we do have a pitcher coming in for the Hoppers. So Underhill's day will be done. And they're trying to make out who that is. It may just be 33 for the Hoppers. So that's Will Isom. We saw him in yesterday's game. I believe it was short-lived too, so this is kind of a redemption moment for him because he did not get much time in yesterday's contest.
Yeah, no, he came out yesterday with, I believe, bases almost loaded, third and second, and brought a couple guys in home with some wild pitches. So maybe today, in a similar situation, will be able to redeem himself.
Yeah, allowed 2 runs and walked 2, and yeah, so now, like you talked about, a chance to redeem himself. But we're going to take a timeout and let him warm up. When we come back, we'll have more Hoppers baseball presented by Chick-fil-A.
News Radio WHOP.
Welcome back here. Will Isom subs into this ball game. The Hoptown Hoppers taking on the Paducah Chiefs 4-2 here. And we are here and in the top of the fourth inning. As one run has already scored here for the Chiefs. The pitch, a swing and a miss there. As at the plate, Ben Brombaugh. So runners or bases loaded here with no outs. Ball hits the dirt. Stopped by Fernandez. So 1-1 count. Score here 4-2. The Hoppers do lead. The pitch, breaking ball. Ooh, inside corner there. That was a pretty one.
Yeah, that ball came in right at the end there. I actually thought it was going to hit the batter.
1-2. Now with no outs, bases loaded. Isom on the plate. Breaking ball is hit towards second base, and it'll be fumbled a bit. They'll throw to first. They get it in time, though, and a run does score as Bingham will come in, and Brombaugh is out as Muto throws to Villalobos.
Yeah,
so one out now.
And a slip there by Muto. That I think that was actually looking more like a double play there for a second until he hit the ground.
And so now one out here. Score now 4-3. We have a fun one here at Christian County Field between the Hoppers and the Chiefs. So left-handed batter Christian Beal is at the plate. (4-3) the ball game. 2 runs have been scored in this fourth inning by the Chiefs. Runners on second and third, 1 out. The 0-1 pitch is chopped high. It's caught by the catcher. He'll throw to first to Muto, and another run scores for the Chiefs as Will Gibbs will come in and score. So now a tie ball game, 4 runs apiece as Beal will ground out there. So now Noah Boone, the designated hitter, comes in. He struck out in the last inning. Another breaking ball there, and it's coming in, like you say, like it's almost about to hit the batter, the right-handed batter, but it just comes back inside.
Yeah, it's a really pretty pitch that he's thrown. He's thrown it twice now, and both have resulted in strikes, so wouldn't be surprised if we saw that one some more.
Again, Will Isom on the mound. And that one tries the same thing, but a little too inside there, the ump says. Makes it 1-1. 2 outs here, a runner on a third. And a strike called there.
And I believe that was the same pitch once again.
So 1-2 the count. Kostranik on third base. And another breaking ball once again has Boone moving out the way, and that is a strikeout looking to retire the Chiefs there in the top of the fourth inning after 1 base hits. No errors, 1 left on base, and 3 runs scored there for the Chiefs. And checking the Manpower of Hopkinsville scoreboard. Looking for a job, visit Manpower on Fort Campbell Boulevard in Hopkinsville today. Let them connect you with a great position where you can start tomorrow. The score, we are tied here, heading to the bottom of the fourth. 4 runs apiece for the Hoppers and the Chiefs. We'll be right back with more Hopper Baseball brought to you by Chick-fil-A.
Join me in thanking our season sponsors: Jones Brothers, White's Auto Mall, Chick-fil-A, Planters Bank, and Oak Grove Racing, Gaming and Hotel. Roll Hoppers.
For financial advice to be useful, it needs to be tailored to how you live your life. I'm Sue Badgett, branch manager of Baird's Hopkinsville office. At Baird, we provide investment and financial planning for all areas of your life: retirement, family and estate plans, and charitable giving. Plus, we coordinate our advice with your tax and legal advisors so you can be confident all your plans are working together for you. Discover the Baird difference. Visit BairdHopkinsville.com.
News Radio WHOP.
And 2 pitches have been thrown here. It's a 1-1 count as the Hoppers up to bat, and a strike called there as Manuel Villalobos is up to bat here in the bottom of the 4th inning. So 1-2 the count. Score 4-4. Hoppers and Chiefs tied here. The pitch is a swing and a miss there, and a strikeout to Villalobos. And that's the first out of the inning for the Hoppers.
Yeah, and that's something that I know we've already only played 1 game, but it's not something we're used to seeing. Yesterday we saw a ton of balls thrown to Villalobos just because of how much power he clearly has when he steps into the box.
And a bunt is called a strike. It's a missed bunt there from Sam Perkins here with 1 out. And the pitching, as that is a winding shot there to right field and a base hit for Sam Perkins as he advances to first. Now up to bat, Kaito Muto. And Kaito Muto batting here, a switch hitter. He's showing bunt, but he takes it away, and the ball goes behind the catcher, and Perkins will advance to second after the wild pitch there. So 1 out here.
And Sam Perkins got picked off at second last time he made it on base, so I'm sure he was happy to see that ball not have a chance at getting there this time around.
1-0. And Muto shows a bunt. It's a slow one. They'll throw to first, and he'll be out. But Perkins advances to third. There's the sac bunt there. So now John Keebler is at the plate. He had a base hit in the first inning.
And was in a very similar situation, but that time with Kaito Muto on third, and this time with Sam Perkins.
So 2 outs here as that pitch is hit behind the broadcast booth. Runner on third base. And it's John Keebler at the plate. And that pitch called a strike there. So 0-2 the count now for Keebler. Again, Jacob Overbeck still in this contest. He started for the Chiefs. And that pitch is high, call it a ball. Again, 2 outs. It's a tie ball game here, 4-4. 2 outs and a runner on third. Outside pitch. Gets a bit lost there by Diamond, but he's able to track it down. Now a 2-2 count. And Overbeck, he's done a pretty decent job. Has allowed the 4 runs, but he's staying in this ball game because he is throwing some good pitches. 2-2, and that pitch is hit towards second. It'll be fielded, thrown, and It's out there. So not a difficult grab there from Gibbs, the second baseman, but a nice throw to retire Keebler and retire the Hopper batters, as that's the third out. One base hit in this inning for the Hoppers. No errors and one left on base. No runs scored. Checking the Manpower of Hopkinsville scoreboard. Still a tie game heading to the top of the fifth. Chiefs 4, Hoppers 4. We'll be right back with more baseball brought to you by Chick-fil-A.
News Radio WHOP.
Welcome back here, heading to the top of the fifth inning. Hoppers hosting the Paducah Chiefs here in the second game of the season inside Christian County Colonel Field. And we have a new pitcher on the mound, Jack Jennings, as he's coming out of Hanover College and originally from Nashville, Tennessee. And Will Isom was on the mound previously. Didn't get too much time there. As we mentioned, Hoppers are running through pitchers, really trying to change it up and show different looks here. We have a tie ball game, once again 4-4 here. And up to bat is Gage Griggs for the Chiefs. And that pitch just a bit high there is called a ball.
Yeah, and this is an interesting look the Hoppers are going for, already showing 4 pitchers versus the Chiefs, who are still rocking with their starter.
Yep.
Yesterday we saw the same thing. I think it might be just the coaches trying to see what all of their pitchers are capable of as early as possible in this season.
Yeah, and I think you need to show these looks. I mean, they see that it's a tie ball game here, so it also adds a mental aspect to how they can handle these kind of situations, like you said. That pitch is called a ball once again, so a 3-0 count now. And again, Gage Griggs at the plate. The pitch is inside of there as Griggs moves out of the way, and that will be a walk as Griggs advances to first. Now up to bat, Andrew Burns for the Chiefs. Burns batting in that 7th spot. And they'll try to throw it first. That ball gets loose. And going to first, or second, excuse me, will be Griggs. And tough situation there as Jennings trying to throw over to first, and that error there will advance Griggs to second. So 4-4 still the score here. Runner on second and no outs. And no pitches yet thrown to Andrew Burns. A decent leadoff on second base from Griggs as that pitch is called a ball.
Yeah, and all 5 balls from Jennings so far, I believe, were high pitches. He just needs to get this ball down.
1-0. That pitch outside. It was lower, but it was outside. So 2-0. The count here. Again, a runner on second, no outs. Tie ball game, 4-piece. The pitch. It's the dirt to make it 3-0 here. And Jennings in a tough spot here with a runner on second. And we mentioned there are players on the bullpen, or in the bullpen. That's a low pitch in the dirt there. And that'll be another walk, back-to-back walks here.
Yeah, and that's 8 straight walks there for Jennings. That's the kind of number that the opposing dugout will start counting aloud for.
And you mentioned just 8 straight balls thrown there. So now runners on a first and second. Luke Diamond at the plate. He was hit by a pitch in the last inning and actually was one of those runners to score. So now runners on second. Jennings will throw. And he called. That's a strike there.
Yeah, and I was just about to say, I mean, Jennings not throwing crazy wild pitches. They're just barely missing the strike zone. So you can almost chalk that one up to nerves.
4-4 ball game, no outs, runners on first and second. Diamond at the plate, and they're going to third base. They'll throw, and I believe he'll make it in time. That was Griggs going to third. So now runners on the corners at first and third. That pitch was a strike, though. So an 0-2 count for Luke Diamond at the plate. And time is called as Fernandez is going to do some signaling over there towards Jennings. So see, they might test the runner at first, see if they might steal. And that's a high pitch off of the glove. Coming into home fast will be Griggs, and he scores there. Not sure what was communicated there, but it didn't work. As now the Chiefs take the lead at 5-4. And advancing to second will be Burns. Again, no outs here. A 1-2 count for the 8th hole batter, Luke Diamond. On deck is Gunnar Bingham. He had a base hit in the last inning. Did Bingham. So 1-2 the count. Here's the pitch. Breaking ball tipped off of the bat behind home plate. Keeps the count at 1-2. Again, runner on second. No outs here. And they're going to throw to second base. That ball gets loose, goes behind towards center field. But a nice job from Muto. It hit the bag and went up in the air, but Muto tracked it down. Yeah, so Burns going to go anywhere.
Muto did a fantastic job to track that ball down. It looked like it was going into center field, made the run back there to catch it before it even hit the ground.
So 1-2, still the count. Again, no outs here. Jennings throws the pitch. That one goes past home plate. And advancing to third is Burns. I want to remind people listening that this specific game tonight is brought to you by United Southern Bank and food provided by Judge John Atkins.
And I just got word that the attendance for tonight's home game was 400, which I believe is more than yesterday's home opener.
I think it was. I think I saw the number 250. That is a winder there to right field. It'll advance a runner, and going to second will be Bingham. or Diamond, excuse me. Diamond advances to second. And so a run comes in to score there.
Yeah, and I could be crazy, but I'm almost positive that that ball went over the shoulder of Muto and then hit his foot and bounced past Estrada.
And you talk about that around about 400 people here. That you talk about the Paducah Chiefs and being a little closer to that. Definitely, I think you talk about a bit of maybe a rivalry brewing these past couple of years between these two teams. And like we mentioned, not sure who's fan unless they got logos on, because we see a lot of red here. Of course, both of these teams' colors are red. I want to note that too. I don't think I mentioned that in the broadcast for our radio listeners. The Hoppers wearing their white uniforms with looks like red and black stripes on the top and black lettering with white pants and the white hat. And the Chiefs wearing their red uniforms with black lettering, maybe navy blue. It's looking pretty close with gray pants as well. And so now we'll have a new pitcher here, as it looks like Jackson McIntyre. Or no, Gerard, excuse me. John Gerard. Have the numbers flipped here. John Gerard will come in to pitch here, so we'll give him some time to warm up here. We'll take a quick 30-second timeout. Be back with more here. This is Hopper Baseball brought to you by Chick-fil-A. As John Gerard comes in for Jack Jennings, and the Chiefs have took the lead here 6-4 here in the top of the 5th inning. Up to bat and now is Gunnar Bingham, left-hander. He had a base hit and is a runner on second base too, by the way, with no out still. Excuse me, the second or first pitch is called a ball outside.
Yeah, and Gerard, I believe, is also from Hanover University, so that's back-to-back Hanover pitchers the Hoppers are throwing out there tonight.
He is originally from Richmond, Kentucky. Breaking ball called strike there. Bingham facing a 1-1 count. And a double from Luke Diamond put him on second. And it was a ball that was right in between right field and second base. We saw that yesterday. Looked like maybe one of them definitely could have got it. That's a pop fly there going towards right field. It will be caught, and they'll try to tag from second to third. The throw gets past third base, but Bingham will be out. But coming to third will be Diamond, and he'll just stay at third after the wild pitch there.
Yeah, and I believe if the third baseman makes that catch, that runner's probably out. The ball made it there before the runner, but made it through the glove as well. Luckily, Gerard was backing him up.
Back to the top of the lineup here. Will Gibbs at the plate. First pitch called a strike. 1 out now. And the score still 6-4, but a runner in scoring position at third. With just 1 out for the Chiefs. Breaking ball, another one is called a strike. So 0-2 quickly. Again, 6-4 the score here. And a swing and a miss. There's a strikeout. Nice job there from John Gerard. As Gibbs strikes out on the 0-2 pitch.
Three pretty pitches there to put out the batter. First strikeout we've seen in a while.
And so now up to bat is Sammy Kestranek.
It's something like
I'll get it. I'll get it eventually. Kostranik, I believe, is the way it should go. That first pitch was fouled there, so 0-1 is the count. Again, still a runner on third with 2 outs. That pitch will be hit towards the batting cages there. So 0-2 the count. And quickly, once again, Gerard gets ahead in the count with an 0-2 situation. Runner on third with 2 outs here. The pitch, breaking ball, is chopped but fouled near the Hopper dugout. So count remains the same at 0-2. Again, I want to mention this game day is brought to you by United Southern Bank. And the food brought to you by Judge John Atkinson. That's a liner past third base. That will advance a run there as it gets past the third baseman there to bring in a run. Coming in to score is Luke Diamond, and a base hit for Kostranik. That was a hard hit right there. I mean, that's hard to field.
Yeah, the diving play there from the Hopper's third baseman went right under his glove, so definitely a hard ball to field. I'm not even sure if he came up with that if it was making the first.
That was Carter Hood there. That's a strike after it's fouled off the bat behind home plate. So now 7-4, the Chiefs lead. And 2 outs here. Ben Brombaugh is at the plate. So 2 outs here. 1-1 the count to Brombaugh. And again, after the base hit, Kostranik's at base. That's another chopper to third. It'll be fielded, thrown, and it's caught there by Villalobos. A 5-3 to end the third inning. And after that, I see 2 hits for the Chiefs. 1 runner left on base, 1 error, and 3 runs scored. Checking the manpower of Hopkinsville scoreboard, the Chiefs lead the Hoppers heading to the bottom of the 5th inning, 7-4. This presentation of Hopper Baseball brought to you by Chick-fil-A.
WHOP.
And Robert Estrada at the plate in the bottom of the 5th as the Hoppers trail the Chiefs 7-4 here inside Christian County Colonel Field. And Estrada had a base hit in the 2nd inning. First pitch just a tad bit high in the middle, called a ball. And 3 runs, it was tied, but 3 runs were scored in that 5th inning, as that is a base hit in between 2nd and 1st. And a nice job there from Estrada. And he is 3 for 3 in this game after this makes it the 3rd back-to-back single for Estrada.
Yeah, just wonderful hitting from Estrada so far. He's done his part, that's for sure.
An early candidate for player of the game so far. 7-4 The score here, runner on first. Up the bat, Fred Fernandez. And that is fouled past the dugout of the Hoppers. Makes the count 0-1.
And that stops Estrada mid-stride. He was stealing second base there.
And Fernandez, originally from Venezuela, comes out of Olney Central College. That is a pitch called a strike there. Clip that outside mid-corner. So 0-2 the count, runner on first. No outs, and we have a runner going to second, and it's close, and it's safe there from Estrada as he steals for second.
Yeah, and you could tell he wanted to. I mean, obviously he tried to earlier in the, after that first pitch he tried to, that was fouled off by Fred, and then that second pitch he got a huge lead off, and then the third one he goes.
And some people will say Estrada was robbed at home plate after running towards home.
I know he'd say that.
1-2 the count here. Fernandez will foul to the right of the first base line. Keeps the count the same at 1-2. Yeah, you could hear Fernandez have a decent angle from home plate, and as soon as he was called out, I could read his lips. Looked like he said, "No way, bro," talking to the umpire.
Yeah, and he had a ton of support from the Hoppers fans behind home plate as well.
And the umpires for this game, Roger Retke is behind home plate, and the base umpires, Mark McNabbie and Austin Moore. Appreciate them for officiating this ball game. 1-2 the count, swing and a miss there. He's a strikeout as Fernandez is retired for the first out of this inning. Now up to bat Carter Hood. He was hit by a pitch.
No, it's actually Gavin Baxter.
Gavin Baxter, we have a sub, excuse me. So Gavin Baxter comes in.
Yesterday's player of the game.
And he scored half of the Hoppers' runs yesterday, 3 out of 6. So he'll come in for Reed Douglas. The pitch, swing and a miss there. And so Baxter's first at bat, 0-1 the count now. Runner on second with 1 out here. That's Estrada on second. Again, still pitching is Overbeck for the Pistons. That's a grounder towards the shortstop. It'll be fielded, thrown, it bounces, and it's loose there. And coming in to score will be Estrada, and Baxter automatically advances to first.
And the Hoppers love to see that, just a little bit of fortune on their side there.
So an error there will advance to Gavin Baxter. And an E5 there, and that's a score as Estrada will come in and make it 5 runs now scored for the Hoppers as they trail 7-5 now. And again, Baxter on second base. And showing bunt there was Reed Douglas. He took it away for the ball. So 1-0 count here, 1 out, 7-5 ball game here in the bottom of the 5th. Runner on second base. Overbeck on the mound. And pitch called strike there. Makes it a 1-1 count.
Yeah, and like we mentioned earlier, the Chiefs sticking with their starter all the way here through the 5th inning, whereas the Hoppers have already seen 5 pitches.
1-1 pitch. That is called a strike as well with no swing. So 1-2 the count here. 7-5 ball game with 1 out. At the plate, Reed Douglas. The pitch is outside to even the count at 2 apiece. So runner on second in scoring position here as the Hoppers trail 7-5. Douglas at the plate. The 2-2 pitch is tipped off of the bat behind home plate. Keeps the count the same. Novak's at 81 pitches on the game. You can talk about it. That is more than any Hopper pitchers have done in these past 2 games. Is we've been rotating a lot.
Oh, for sure, and you love to see this from your pitcher.
And a grounder towards third. It'll be thrown, and it's an out there. As Griggs had looked over at second to see what Estrada would do. Or excuse me, not Estrada, Baxter. And thrown out there is Reed Douglas. And so Griggs makes up for the error previously and makes sure that throw is thrown correctly for the second out. And now Dom Oliviero is at the plate with still a runner on second now with 2 outs as the Hoppers trail by 2, 7-5 here at Colonel Field. It's the pitch outside, tracking it down there was Diamond. So 1-0 the count. And Oliveiro, a freshman out of Indiana State, Indiana local too. He's from Fishers. The pitch is high to make it 2-0.
Yeah, and Baxter on second base dancing just a little bit, had the pitcher thinking twice about throwing that one. That may have affected why that ball ended up being a ball.
Showing some hammer time near second base, and that pitch is hit deep or grounded towards center field, and a run will come in as Baxter scores. And he just can't stop scoring.
That's right.
Every time he has been at the plate, he has ended up scoring. 3 runs yesterday, making another run again for Baxter.
Like I said yesterday, Baxter just seeming to be the face of consistency for this Hoppers offense.
And a base hit there from Oliveiro. And now Manuel Villalobos will come in. 1 for 2. Had a base hit in the first and struck out in the last inning. So now runner on first with 2 outs. Villalobos chops that one, and it'll be fouled behind home plate. And I want to give a special shout out for today's bat boy. It's Ace West, son of Adam and Sarah West. 0-1 is there. A runner going to second. It'll bounce, and it'll be close. And out there is Oliveiro, as that will be the 3rd out of the inning. And that will do it there, as 2 runs score for the Hoppers after 2 hits, no errors, or no 1 error, excuse me, and none left on base. Checking the manpower of Hopkinsville scoreboard. Chiefs still lead the Hoppers 7-6 heading to the top of the 6th. This is Hopper Baseball brought to you by Chick-fil-A.
HOP.
Welcome back, Hopper Baseball here As the Chiefs lead the Hoppers at the top of the sixth, 7-6. Jamar Perkins joined by Ethan Alexander. And it'll be the 4-5-6 batters starting things off here in the sixth inning. Christian Beal first up for the Chiefs. And at the mound is John Gerard for the Hoppers. That first pitch is hit towards the shortstop. It's fielded, thrown in time. It's an out there. In the nick of time there. Nice job for the shortstop for the Hoppers.
Yeah, way to get the inning started. I think Keebler, who is the shortstop who made that throw, got some dirt in his eyes when he made it.
Oh, man.
So I guess that makes that throw even a little bit more impressive.
And he's still rubbing the eyes there, and they're going to, Coach Alben's going to come check in on maybe a water bottle maybe. He doesn't have one in his hands, but that might help. I don't know. As it looks like they're going to go bring a towel over to him. Maybe not.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, we do. We got towel and some water. The perfect combo for dirt in the eyes. As Muto will come in and try to assist him. And a nice job, though, from Keebler to be able to make that throw. It just threw it in the nick of time there to retire Beal. And we have a fun one here, Ethan. 7-6. You know, there's a lot more interesting than last night's game. I think it's keeping the fans engaged. And a nice fifth inning there after the Chiefs had jumped out to the lead, the 7-4 lead. I think the Hoppers did a good job of putting two up on the board to strengthen that deficit.
Yeah, I mean, when you go at 4-1 early like that, and you think things are looking good, and some pitching struggles ends up getting the other team back in the game, actually getting them the lead, and we're seeing maybe a little bit more consistency here from Gerard. But this game, like you said, is a lot more competitive than what we saw last night. Maybe we'll keep the fans in the seats a little bit longer than it did yesterday.
And so it looks like Keebler, I think no, Keebler's still out there. Keebler is still out there rubbing the eyes, but that's an outside pitch there for a ball at the plate. Noah Boone. So 1-0 the count here. Breaking ball is outside near the middle, so make it a 2-0 count. Again, one out here. The Chiefs up to bat. 7-6 is their lead. That pitch is popped up. Looks like it'll go near the bullpen, and it goes out to the right of it. And I tell you what, I think someone either underneath me, it has to be. I'm smelling a burger, some kind of meat underneath it, and man, it's getting the hungry senses going.
I was about to say, I will admit I'm a tad bit hungry, so that wafting up from below us isn't the greatest feeling in the world.
Super inside pitch there, hits the dirt to make it a 3-1 count. Yeah, I mean, coming in here early, they start working on these on the grill early. I mean, we get here about 2 hours before the game, and they're working then. So some nice burgers.
Well, you have
cooked
to.
up.
You have to, because we get here 2 hours early, but so do some of the fans, and they're here ready to eat.
That's true. And you talk about about 400 of them. That's a lot of mouths to feed. Full count here with 1 out. Noah Boone at the plate. The pitch from Gerard. Check swing, and it is just a bit high. I thought maybe, just maybe, that'd be called a strike, but no, it's a walk. So Boone advances to first. And they got a vehicle needing to be moved out the way at the park. 1 out as that pitch is fouled. At first, I thought it was going to be an announcement saying your car just got busted in one of the windows for one of the balls, but just moving your parking spot, not too bad. So 0-1 the count here. A 1 out, runner on first base. Gage Griggs at the plate. The pitch is a fastball near the outside middle. So 0-2 the count now. 1 out here. Be a nice opportunity to maybe turn a double play here. Here's the pitch. That wall is hit towards left field. Baxter goes over his head, and a runner will advance to first and second. And as Baxter will pick it up.
Yeah, that just unlucky. I mean, that comes in a little bit closer, and Baxter gets an easy catch, and it goes a little bit farther, and the left fielder has an easy catch, Oliveira. So that one just falls right in the middle of both of them and ends up getting a guy on first.
And so now runners on first and second with 1 out. Andrew Burns is at the plate. He was walked. He was one of those runs that scored in the 5th inning. That ball will be loose and end up in front of home plate, and a runner advances to third. That's Boone. So now runners on the corners with 1 ball, no strikes, 1 out. Chiefs at bat leading 7-6, and Fernandez is going to signal some things over to Gerard. Now, I remember Fernandez took a pause to signal some things to Jennings, and it was a wild pitch after that. We'll see what pitch comes up after this.
Yeah, I hope Fred isn't telling him to do something that he shouldn't here.
And it's a strike, though, so whatever he said worked out there. And so 1-1 the count here against the Burns. Again, runners on the corners, 1 out. We have a player stealing. They'll throw towards second, and they got him. That's the shortstop there. Keebler coming in to assist the second baseman. Muto, a nice teamwork there, as Keebler had the back of Muto there. And that will get Griggs out there for the second out now. So now a different situation now with 2 outs and a runner at third. 2 balls, 1 strike. That pitch is fouled towards the screen behind home plate to make the count even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs here. Runner on third, 7-6 as the Chiefs are at the plate. And the pitch. That pitch is winding outside of play. And I want to note, too, John Gerard is a left-handed pitcher. Not sure if I stated that or not. So a different look at the first left-handed pitcher we've seen in this ball game for the Hoppers. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs here. Runner on third. 7-6 ball game. Chiefs at bat. And it's a strike 3 called there. And that retires the Chiefs.
And
Go ahead.
And those crickets that we were talking about earlier in the game, Coach Mike Alvin talked about, are not chirping tonight because the Hoppers got really excited after that strikeout.
So 1 hit, 1 runner left on base, no errors, and no runs scored there in the top of the 6th inning. We head to the bottom of the 6th, checking the manpower of Hopkinsville scoreboard. The Chiefs lead the Hoppers 7-6. This is Hoptown Hopper Baseball, brought to you by Chick-fil-A.
Radio, WHOP.
And welcome back here as we have a new pitcher for the Chiefs, Joe Pekka. Coming out of Cadiz, Kentucky, right-handed pitcher, attends Murray State. And Pekka will try to come in and defend this 7-6 lead. As up to bat now is Manuel Villalobos, as he is 1 for 2 in this ball game. Had a base hit in the first and struck out in the fourth. Now leading off, it'll be the Villalobos being the 8th batter, so 8-9-1 to go in the 6th inning. Outside pitch called a ball there for Villalobos. And the energy is energizing, if you can hear just a bit from the Hopper dugout. Swing and a miss there for a strike. That's what you like to see, too. And I'm sure that it's probably going to get even louder as these fellas get to know each other even more and start to support each other. But you love to see it if you're a Hopper fan and just a baseball fan in general. 1-1, a swing and a miss, another one there, as Villalobos was reaching a bit on that one.
Yeah, and like you were saying, I mean, and even in the present, I mean, after allowing the other team to put up 3 runs in 2 straight innings, to leave a 0 on the board definitely got those guys up and out of their seats.
1-2 count. That's outside. And Villalobos attends Alderson Broadus University. For those who haven't heard of that, it's a school in Philippi, West Virginia. 2 balls, 2 strikes here. Villalobos, it's a foul ball behind the Hopper dugout, as Manuel staying alive in this at-bat. 7-6 the score here in the bottom of the 6th. The Chiefs do lead the Hoppers. The pitch is high. Villalobos thought about it but didn't go, so that makes the count full for the first batter in this 6th inning for the Hoppers. Villalobos at the plate. The full count pitch. And it's a swing and a miss there. Back-to-back strikeouts for Villalobos. That's the first out of the inning for the Hoppers. So now Sam Perkins will come out. He had a base hit and made it all the way to third base in that 4th inning. And so now he is up to bat. High pitch there. That man Sam Perkins, he's got a nice last name. I don't do say so myself. As Perkins is that from Hanover College. A ball caught there, so 2 back-to-back balls. Perkins from Louisville, Kentucky. However you say Louisville. How do you say Louisville?
I say Louisville like Louisville.
Okay. And it's a grounder towards second. It'll be fielded, thrown, and it's in time to retire Perkins. So 4-3 there. And Perkins is out. So back-to-back outs here, and we're back to the top of the lineup. Cato Muto will be at the plate. And again, this is a new pitcher for the Chiefs, Joe Pekka on the mound, a left-handed pitcher. And that's a super inside pitch there, low. So we'll call it a ball there. 1-0 the count. An outside pitch there makes it a 2-0 count. Again, for the Hoptown Hoppers, want to thank this game's sponsor, United Southern Bank. And a few more sponsors, Jones Brothers, White's Auto Mall, Chick-fil-A, Planters Bank, Hugert Beard and Giles, Oak Grove Racing and Gaming. 2-1 the count. The pitch is high there. That makes it 3-1.
Yeah, these Chiefs do not want to let Muto get back on the bases. Every time he steps on that base, something ends up happening. Most of the time, he tries to steal second.
He scored twice, and you're right, he has 2 stolen bases so far. 3-1, and that pitch goes near the bullpen. So full count now. Earlier in a full count situation, Manuel Villalobos was struck out. We'll see what the pitch here is from Pekka. It is fouled there once again. Muto staying alive here with 2 outs in this ball game. Scoreboard says 1, but I'm pretty sure it's 2. The pitch is inside, so Muto will be walked. And he advances to first. And now John Keebler at the plate. You know, Keebler a lot easier to recognize. He's got the kind of the Ninja Turtle headband, pretty easily spotted.
Oh yeah, he wears that red bandana under his helmet, and he has unique walk-up music as well. Probably the most hype walk-up music, I would say, out of all of the batters we've seen so far.
It's a swing and a miss there, and he had some head shaking going on too, so I think it really gets the blood pumping for him.
Oh yeah, he gets into it.
So 2 outs here. Runner on first is Muto. Keebler at the plate with an 0-1 count. That pitch low and inside. Gets loose a bit there. So 1-1 the count here with 2 outs. And they'll throw over to first. Muto is there in time. And curious what, you know, Muto has been getting long leadoffs, and we talk about he's already stolen 2 bases, and it's been both the times that he's reached on base. So with 2 outs, he may not steal here, and it's a swing and a miss there, make it 1-2.
Yeah, I mean, Muto's a pretty quick player. He gets these long leadoffs, like he said, but so far every time they have thrown it to first to try to get him, he's been back pretty easily, so he's pretty quick on his feet.
Again, Keebler at the plate. He's had back-to-back second base ground outs. Muto goes again. A left-handed pitcher 1-0-2 is Pekka. So has his eyes on first. Lead might be even bigger. I mean, it's still, regardless, Muto's still making it. He's going to go steal for second, but it's a strikeout there from Keebler, so it doesn't matter. And in that inning, no hits, no errors, 1 left on base, and no runs scored. Score remains the same. Checking the Manpower of Hopkinsville scoreboard. Chiefs lead the Hoppers heading to the top of the 7th, 7-6. This is Hopper Baseball brought to you by Chick-fil-A.
News Radio WHOP.
And welcome back here in the top of the 7th inning. Chiefs up to bat as they lead 7-6 against the Hoptown Hoppers. It'll be Luke Diamond leading off for the Chiefs. It's 8-9-1 starting this inning for the Chiefs. Seven to 6 to score. Outside pitch there is a ball. And again, John Gerard pitching for the Hoppers. We do have just one player in the bullpen right now. It might be number 5. I'll have to look at that. Or can't be number 5, excuse me. So 3-0 the count here quickly for Luke Diamond. 3-0 pitch is swung on there to make it 3-1. An aggressive move shown there from Luke Diamond to swing on that 3-0 pitch. And it's grounded there to short. It'll be fielded, thrown, bounced, and loose actually. So safe is Diamond.
Yeah, that one bounced and Villalobos wasn't quite able to get it. Threw it against the fence. It actually bounced almost all the way back to first.
We'll see what that's called as far as a base hit or an error. It was definitely a close situation. And we'll say base hit there for Diamond. So now runner on first, no outs. The pitch is outside. Nice job there from Fernandez to track that one down. And up to bat now, Gunnar Bingham. He flied out to right field in the 5th inning. And a strike called there to even the count at 1 apiece. One the count, swing and a miss there. Makes it 1-2 for Gunnar Bingham. John Gerard again on the hill. Runner on first, no outs. 1-2 the count. Left-handed pitcher. Pitch is a swing and a miss. Ball gets loose, and they'll throw to first. Try to tag out Diamond, but they can't. So a strikeout there from Bingham. And Diamond remains on the first. 1 out now as we head to the top of the lineup. Will Gibbs will get his 5th attempt at the plate. And he's 0 for 3 in this contest. Was walked in the 4th inning and scored as well. Swing there, no contact, strike.
Yeah, and Gerard came in for Jennings in that 5th inning, and he's been pretty solid ever since.
I agree. And, like you mentioned, a different look as with a left-handed pitcher as that ball is hit, and it'll be a base hit there towards the center field. Got past the shortstop and advancing to third there will be Diamond. As Diamond kind of went into his second gear there, he thought he was just going to stop at second and just pushed all the way to third.
Yeah, and I hope John doesn't blame me for jinxing him there, saying that seconds before that ball gets sent into center field, but it wasn't a bad pitch.
No, not at all. As Gibbs gets his first hit of the ball game. So now Sammy Kastranik up at bat. That's a ball. So 0-1 the count. Runners on a first and a third. With 1 out here. 7-6. The Chiefs lead the Hoppers at the top of the 7th. That's a winding ball behind the Hoppers' faithful bleachers. Makes the count 1-1. one out here as well. 7-6 ball game. The pitch, we have a runner going towards second, but it's hit near second base. Muto tries to track it down. He can't. And a run will score as Diamond comes in. Gibbs will advance to second. And Kostranik goes to first.
Yeah, and that was just unlucky. Muto was actually making a move over to second base when that ball got hit and had to run all the way over to the middle between first and second. And almost still made the play, but bobbled it.
That's a pretty play, too. You talk about, I mean, they're going to send the runner to first to move the second baseman, and then the hitter does a great job of hitting it right there where Muto was coming from. As that first pitch is called a strike. Brombaugh is at the plate, as he is 1 for 4 in this contest. The pitch is outside there. Make it 1-1. So runners on first and second. A run just scored for the Chiefs to make it an 8-6 ball game. Pitch there is missed. And currently right now checking another game going on. Full Count Rhythm is ahead of the Bowling Green Pistons at the bottom of the 6th, 5-1. And that ball is popped up near center field. And it will be caught as the runners stay on first and second there. And Brombaugh flies out to center field for the second out of this inning. Now Christian Beal up to bat. Beal 0 for 3. Oh, breaking ball, called ball there, just a tad bit high. So we have 2 outs here, runners on first and second. 8-6 is the score as the Chiefs lead the Hoppers. Top of the 7th inning. Chiefs batting. Strike called there. Generous call there from the ump. Hit that high outside corner. So 1 ball, 1 strike. That ball was fouled there.
Yeah, that batter must have been seeing something I didn't see, because that ball was very inside and still swung on it. So
yeah, I don't think it hit the barrel of the bat there either on that foul.
No, he was expecting that one to come in, had to have been.
And this is a lefty on lefty action as well. Christian Beal. And the pitch is a swing and a miss there, and he'll be tagged out after the ball drops. And that will do it here for the top of the 7th inning. 2 hits for the Hoppers and no errors. 2 left on base and 1 run scored. And it's the 7th inning stretch brought to you by Chick-fil-A. Visit them today on Fort Campbell Boulevard and download the Chick-fil-A app for online ordering. Checking the manpower of Hopkinsville scoreboard. Heading to the bottom of the 7th. Chiefs lead the Hoppers 8-6. We'll be right back with more after this timeout.
News Radio WHOP.
And welcome back here in the bottom of the 7th. Just had a raffle. The Hoppers. It was calling a winning ticket, a winner of $137. I think I get free admission being media here, but I need me a ticket if they're doing raffles out here.
Yeah, I think they normally do those 50-50 raffles. I've never won one myself.
8-6 there as a ball is thrown. And up to bat for the Hoppers is Robert Estrada. He had a base hit and scored into that 5th inning. We're now in the 7th inning. So an 0-1 count. And Estrada, he's 3 for 3 on this ball game too. Been playing very well. His time is called.
Yeah, and that first pitch went between the catcher's legs, actually went off the leg of the home plate umpire, so he had to shake that one off. Sure didn't feel great.
1-0. Outside pitch there. Makes it 2 balls and no strikes. Again, Pekka pitching for the Chiefs. The 2-0 pitch says swung on and missed. To make it a 2-1 count. Again, Estrada, one of those players that was seen in last night's ball game too. So you're kind of seeing maybe possibly some players that we know will be consistently playing on the field as they are trying different lineups out. As that's a foul ball.
Yeah, and obviously we know why. I mean, tonight he's been great offensively, and last night he made probably the best defensive play of the game. So he's shown his repertoire on both sides of the ball, and I think that probably is going to lead to him playing more games than not.
Listed as a utility player too, but he's been playing right field these first 2 games. After that foul ball, 2-2 is the count. The pitch. He's struck out looking there. You hate to go out like that if you're Estrada after being 3 for 3, but struck out looking there to start off this 7th inning for the Hoppers. Now Fred Fernandez at the plate. Notice a routine for Fernandez too. Not sure if you noticed as well. When he walks up to the plate, he kind of does like a strong shuffle to his left side.
Oh yeah, Fred is known for his pre-batting routine. He does it on every single at-bat. Did the same thing last year.
So 1 out here. 8-6 ball game. Low inside pitch. They are called ball. Fernandez had a single, was part of that 3 singles in a row in the first inning for the Hoppers. And struck out his last one. He's going to hit a ground ball towards second base. It's tracked down, thrown to first, and that's an out as Gibbs throws to Burns to retire Fernandez. We've seen a lot of balls go from second base to first for both of these teams in this ball game. That's the 2nd out of the inning.
Yeah, that's been a popular place to hit it. We haven't seen too many make it out to the outfield tonight. This infield on both sides for both teams has had quite a bit of work to do.
And now I know the announcer's jinx is a thing. Some people believe it is, but I can't not say that Gavin Baxter did sub in the 5th inning and scored, and he scored 3 times. As that's a strike call. He scored 3 times in that first game, but every time Baxter's, been on the plate, he's reached base, he has scored.
Yeah,
Is that first pitch called a strike?
Well, maybe you helped him out because, if he doesn't get on here, then he can blame you.
Very true. I'll take it. I will take it, as he does find himself quickly behind an 0-2 count. Again, Gavin Baxter from Clarksville, Tennessee. It's in Lee University. I believe he's a Clarksville High kid too. Me being Rossview, it's a tough one, But then again, I'm sitting next to a Murray State student, so that says enough beef being from Austin Peay. That's a high ball called there. 1-2 the count here for Baxter. 2 outs. 8-6. Ball game as the Chiefs lead the Hoppers here in the bottom of the 7th. The pitch is swung on and missed there as Baxter will strike out. And so 3 up, 3 down, 2 via strikeouts. No runs scored, no hits, no errors, none left on base. Checking the manpower of Hopkinsville's scoreboard. The Chiefs still lead the Hoppers 8-6. We head to the top of the 8th here. This game brought to you by Chick-fil-A.
News Radio, WHOP.
Welcome back here. New pitcher for the Hoppers, Ethan Davis from Marian University, the freshman pitcher out of Brownstown, Indiana. He'll come into this ball game as the Hoppers try to get back into this one, starting at the top of the 8th. They trail 8-6 against the Paducah Chiefs. And on deck for the Chiefs will be their 5, 6, and 7 hitters. That's Noah Boone, Gage Griggs, and Andrew Burns. First up, Noah Boone, the designated hitter.
Yeah, and earlier you talked about how Sam Perkins, you were fond of his last name.
Yes,
well,
sir.
Ethan Davis on the mound right now, and I'm fond of his first name, so we can relate on that one.
And it looks like Fernandez coming to talk a bit of words and strategy with Davis as he comes back to home plate. And again, batting is Boone for the Paducah Chiefs. An 8-6 ball game. Chiefs lead here. The pitch is in the dirt and way past the catcher. 4 ball. Again, want to mention tomorrow will be a road game for the Hoppers as they will take on the newest team in the OVL, the Clarksville Whirlybirds. 2-0 the count. If I'm not mistaken, that game will start at 7:05 as that's how Clarksville does their games. So a little bit later, but not bad of a drive for Hopkinsville if you want to travel and make that game. And there's a hit there, a hit by pitch, should I say. Boone is hit in the back, so he will advance to first base.
Yeah, and if you're interested in listening or watching that game tomorrow in Clarksville, the live stream on Hoptown Hoppers TV will be available. It'll also be shared on our Facebook page at Hoptown Hoppers Baseball. I won't be there to call a game, but the live stream will run, so be sure to check that out tomorrow.
Yeah, you're right. The WHOP will not be covering that game as well as we do the home games and playoff games. Runner on first now. Gage Griggs at the plates. That's a low and outside pitch there. So 1-0 the count. The pitch is outside once again. That makes it a 2-0 count. No outs here. Runner on first. Chiefs at a bat and ahead in this ball game, 8-6. The 2-0 pitch. That ball outside.
Yeah, and he's throwing most of these balls into the same general area on the outside low corner. Similar to Jennings earlier, finding a spot, but it's not in the strike zone.
So a 3-0 count here. Here's the pitch, and that is outside as well. So back-to-back runners advance, one via hit by pitch. This one being Gage Griggs, a walk. So now runners on first and second with no outs here. And Coach Albin is asking for a moment to talk to his pitcher. And I believe some checking here. I think maybe a balk is called. They're going to say count stay the same. So yes, a runner advanced to second, but the count stayed the same. So I believe it's a balk called on Griggs. So he will actually stay where he is. Got ahead of myself on my book there. And it's Coach Albin coming to talk to Davis. And so, yes, a balk is called, which advances Boone to second. And the count stays the same for Griggs at 3-0. So another chance here for Davis to try to prevent the walk here on Griggs. The renewed 3-0 pitch, here it is. And that one, another ball there. So it will walk Griggs. So back to the situation that it was at first. Runners on first and second. And up to bat now, Andrew Burns. He struck out looking in his last at bat in the 6th inning. And Andrew Burns attends Liberty University and is a local from Liberty, from Lynchburg, Virginia. That ball is loose. They'll try to go to second. And he's caught in a pickle there. And now Villalobos tried to look over at second. He'll throw to second. Now trying to track him down and tags him out to go for third base. That ball gets loose. And so Boone will stay at third, or Boone will go to third. Griggs was caught trying to go towards second. So that puts 1 out on the board now, but a runner in scoring position for the Chiefs, Boone at third. Interesting situation right there, Ethan.
Yeah, and shout out to Fred Fernandez, who stopped that ball that was probably going to go pretty wild if he didn't get in front of it. Both of the base runners on first and second thought it went farther than it did, and that's what ended up leading to that. Almost led it to a double play if Baxter controlled that ball at third.
So 1 out there, 1-0. The count here. Runner on third. Outside a pitch there. Was low. Waited a bit to see what the ump might call, and no movement. So 2-0, excuse me. Swing and a miss there. That is called a strike for sure.
Yeah, and maybe that swing strike will get Davis a little bit calmed down on the mound and throw a couple strikes here, because it was all balls previous to that.
So 2-1 here. Runner on third. 1 out. 8-6 ball game. Chiefs lead. Chiefs at bat. Winding pitch will go behind Fernandez, making it a 3-1 count. Again, pitching Davis as he checked into this ball game this inning. He's up at about 10 pitches. The pitch is outside again, so walking will be Burns. And now Luke Diamond will come, as he had a base hit and he scored in that 7th inning. He was that lone run in the 7th. Now finds himself back at the plate.
Yeah, and Fred Fernandez steps forward and signals something to Davis. We've seen that work and not work tonight. This will be the 3rd time he's done that.
So runners at first and third. We'll see if possibly runner at first tries to make his way towards second. He doesn't for the first pitch. That's called a strike there to Luke Diamond. Nice pitch there from Davis. And runners on first and third. 8-6 is the score here as the Chiefs lead and at the top of the 8th inning. Another pitch there called strike.
Yeah, and those pitches are pretty close to where he's been throwing and getting balls called. So just sneaking it up just a little bit to get it in that strike zone, and maybe now he's feeling a little bit more comfortable.
And Davis will call time, fake a throw over to first. He reloads. 0-2, 1 out. Here's the pitch. That's outside. Comes out of the glove from Fernandez. No runners move from first or third. So 1-2 here, 1 out. And at the plate is Luke Diamond. The pitch, breaking ball is popped up near right field, tracking it down. It's caught there from Estrada. He'll throw towards home to try to get him, and they get him.
They got him.
Estrada with another beautiful throw towards home. No runs are scored there. And what a play once again from Estrada, as Noah Boone is caught lacking coming home to be the 3rd out there. And checking as far as hits, no hits in that inning for the Chiefs. And no errors, one runner left on base, and no runs scored. Checking the manpower of Hopkinsville scoreboard, the score remains the same heading to the bottom of the 8th inning. Chiefs 8, Hoppers 6. We'll be right back for more Hopper Baseball brought to you by Chick-fil-A.
Biggs from Missouri Western State University. We would not have Hoppers Baseball without the following businesses. Please support our season sponsors: City of Hopkinsville, Penny Ryle Electric, Hopkinsville Water Environment Authority, Charlie Henderson State Farm Insurance, and the WHBO. Thank you, and go Hoppers.
News Radio WHOP.
Welcome back, heading to the bottom of the 8th after a beautiful throw from Robert Estrada. As a run almost scored for the Chiefs to make it a 9-6 ball game, but the throw was there, and a nice job for Fernandez to catch it and tag out the runner. So 8-6 is the score here at the bottom of the 8th inning. And starting things off, it'll be the 6, 7, and 8 hitters in the lineup for the Hoppers. Starting off is Reed Douglas. And that pitch called a strike there.
Yeah, and when talking about Estrada and that defensive play he just had, probably the defensive play of the game thus far. And so that's 2 games in a row where he's had just a fantastic play from right field.
And a foul ball off the bat behind home plate makes it an 0-2 count now after that first pitch was called strike. So no balls, 2 strikes here. The pitch is fouled behind the bleachers. So the first batter in this lineup, Reed Douglas, facing Joe Pekka for the Chiefs. The pitch is inside. A called strike there. Baxter moved out the way and was caught looking there. So a strikeout, another one for Pekka.
Yeah, and the Hoppers crowd behind home plate that hasn't been super kind to this umpire tonight sure did not agree with that one. That one elicited some oohs and ahs. One of the first pitches I think we've seen that had that reaction.
As that's 5 strikeouts now for Pekka. Now Dom Oliviero. And we have some talking between the umpires. I thought so. But regardless, we're staying the same here. 8-6 ball game. 1 out here. And Coach Albin is going to come talk to the home plate umpire, Roger Retke. And man, I do wish that we could get the coaches mic'd up. I'm curious what's being said here.
It looks like he's pointing either towards the pitcher or one of the middle infielders, concerned about something that they're doing, perhaps.
Oh, maybe. Won't repeat what I just heard there, but 1-0 counts. Or excuse me, 0-1 counts here for Dom Oliveiro. And 1 out here. And check swing didn't go there, makes it 1 ball, 1 strike. 1 out here. No runners on base for the Hoppers. They trail 8-6 here in the bottom of the 8th inning. And the pitch there is just outside for ball. 2-1 the count. The 2-1 pitch is a swing and a miss there to make it a even count at 2 apiece. And a strike looking there, a low strike called there. And that's back-to-back strikeouts looking. And you mentioned it. Fans not happy with that one for the Hoppers as Manuel Villalobos will come in. He's struck out his last 2 at-bats. Looking to change things here with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 8th.
Yeah, and Villalobos does love to swing, so we'll see if he can control that bat a little bit better than he has the rest of the night.
In a couple of local college baseball scores, Kentucky defeated Ball State earlier 4-0. Tennessee beat Charlotte 8-1 as that pitch is fouled behind Villalobos. So 1-1 is the count. Arkansas beat Santa Clara 13-6. LSU beat Tulane 7-2.
I believe I saw something like all 12 games today, the power team beat the mid-major.
And I was just going to say I was trying to find some kind of upset, and I couldn't. Yeah, I think you're right. As another pitch is fouled off the bat behind home plate to make it a 1-2 count. Washington did beat Dallas Baptist. You know, maybe not a power team, but I know Dallas Baptist known for being a good program. A 1-2 pitch close to the head of Villalobos. He gets out the way, making it a 2-2 count with 2 outs here. Villalobos mentioned he struck out back-to-back times his last 2 at-bats, and there's been back-to-back strikeouts here in this inning, trying not to make it a third for both ways. And it is going to be a strikeout inside pitch. 3 up, 3 down, all via strikeouts there. A nice job from Joe Pekka as no hits were scored, no errors, none left on base, and no runs scored. We head to the top of the 9th inning, checking the Hopkinsville Manpower scoreboard, or Manpower of Hopkinsville scoreboard, excuse me. The Chiefs still lead the Hoppers 8-6 heading to the top of the 9th. This is Hopper Baseball brought to you by Chick-fil-A. Welcome back here. A new pitcher to close things out here for the Hoppers. In the top of the 9th, it's Chase Bruno, the junior pitcher from Birch Run, Mississippi, and currently playing at Saginaw Valley State.
Yeah, and I believe he's the first player this year, I think the only player on the Hoppers from Saginaw Valley, but that's another college that has been very involved in the Hoppers. We've had 5 players from there over the last 3 years, including Bruno, who played 2 years ago. And then last year, one of our assistant coaches was a assistant coach at Saginaw Valley.
I want to correct myself, too. Birch Run is in Michigan. Initials a bit off on this roster I'm looking at here. My mistake. And so 8-6 is your score here. And a tough bottom of the 8th for the Hoppers as they went 3 up, 3 down, and all 3 batters struck out. And so now Gunnar Bingham will be leading things off. It's 8-1-2 in the lineup for the Chiefs. A nice position to be in, too. As it seems to be a new catcher for the Hoppers. As it's a chopper fouled near first base. And excuse me, I don't think there is a new pitcher. I may have made a mistake there. I think that is Fred Fernandez.
No, that's Luis Villalba. Luis Villalba, who we saw last night playing catcher after Reed Douglas.
So we do have a new pitcher in, and that's an outside pitch. That one goes wild there, hits the backstop behind home plate. And so Luis Villalba checks into this game from Keystone College, junior catcher out of Carolina, Puerto Rico. 1 ball, 1 strike here. And the pitch is inside, called a strike there.
Yeah, and I wish my radar wasn't stolen from me earlier, because I think Bruno's throwing the fastest we've seen tonight.
As we'll have to ask whoever has that radar what the count's looking like. I think you're correct, as that's a swing and a miss there. Strikeout. The first batter for Chase Bruno is a strikeout. After that 1-2 pitch there. So now at the top of the lineup, Will Gibbs will come back. It'll be his 6th at bat. He had a base hit in that 7th inning. Again, Bruno coming into this game. First pitch is called a ball. And Bruno out of Michigan. That outside pitch is fouled high behind home plate.
And I don't mean to correct you, but look at your paper there. I'm not 100% sure myself. Is it Bruno or Gruno with a G?
I think you're correct. It is Gruno. Thank you for correcting me. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I wasn't 100% sure. He played here before I started working with the Hoppers.
So 2-1 is the count here. Again, Chase Gruno for the Hoppers. The 2-1 pitch is hit near center field, and it drops for a base hit. And that was Perkins out in center field. Couldn't get to it and definitely didn't want to let it get it past him. So a base hit there from Gibbs, and back-to-back base hits for him as well after getting a single.
Yeah, and one thing about a pitcher who throws as fast as Bruno throws, whenever a batter gets contact on that ball, it's going to go deep. We've seen a lot of work from the infield tonight, but if these Chiefs batters can get contact with Bruno's pitches, the outfield's going to have to go to work.
Pitch from Bruno is a low, called a ball. Kostranik at the plate, and we have a runner going to first, and it comes out of the glove of Villalba, but it is called a strike though, so runner advance is to second. His Gibbs for the stolen base, and the count now at 1 ball, 1 strike. We have 1 out here, the runner on second, and the Chiefs with a 2-run lead here, 8-6 as they are batting. The pitch is outside and low there for a second ball of the count. Two, 1 the count. The pitch is called a strike. Same spot, but just a little bit higher. And that gets the job done to make it a second strike. So now 2 balls, 2 strikes here. Runner on second, 1 out. The 2-2 pitch from Gruno is fouled near the Hopper dugout. Again, Kestranek had a base hit in that 7th inning as well. Two. The pitch chopped near shortstop. It'll be fielded, thrown, and it's an out there as a runner advances to third. But that's the second out there. As Ben Bromba will come to the plate. Bromba 1 for 5 on the day. With 2 outs here, runner on third. Gruno on the mound. First pitch is outside. It's wild, and the runner's going to try to come in advance. They'll throw it to Gruno, but it's overthrown there. And if it was in time, might have got him. But coming in to score there is Gibbs, his second run of the ball game, and the lead is extended now 9-6 after that wild pitch.
And like you said, I think if that ball makes it to Gruno there's a really good chance he gets that runner at home. He was moving. He knew that ball was going wild, and he was moving right away.
So now 1 ball, no strikes. After that run scores, there's no runners on base. That's another low ball in the dirt, but Villalba gets it. 2-0 count for Ben Bromba. Another low pitch and outside. 3-0 the count now. The 3-0 pitch is called a strike there. Just clipped the outside corner. And Brombaugh is stopped in his tracks as it looked like he was taking a turn for first. 3-1 the count here. And that one's called a strike as well as a check swing, but it didn't matter as the pitch was inside for a strike. Full count here with 2 outs. 9-6 ball game, Chiefs lead. The pitch does become a ball and gets past Villalba, so that'll walk Brombaugh. And now Christian Beal will come up to bat. He struck out in that 7th inning. But a chance here to keep the run alive here for the Chiefs with a run already scored. And a runner on first. The pitch is outside there. Nice catch from Villalba, too.
I was just about to say that. A good grab there from Villalba.
So 1-0 the count. And I'll tell you, we talk about chemistry with this team, but that's the biggest factor you think about when you talk about 2 positions, the pitcher and catcher.
Yeah, and I mean, to be fair, this Hoppers team who has thrown a ton of pitchers tonight, it's difficult to build chemistry when you have that many pitchers playing every night. So you would hope that eventually we start to slow down with 7 pitchers in a single game, because the last 2 nights have both been like that.
And a swing and a miss. They will try to throw it first, and Brombaugh is good, but a 1-2 pitch. I think my favorite highlight of yesterday's ball game was the Bowling Green Pistons trying to figure out what the pitcher's name was. PA announcer looked over and talked to the catcher and said, "What's the pitcher's name?" Looked over, put his hands up, said, "I don't know." That shows how fresh some of these teams are. As we're going to have a runner going to second. They'll throw it, and they'll say safe. Is Brombaugh. Looks close.
Yeah, an impressive throw there from Villalba, but Brombaugh was moving, man. I do think he beat that ball. Good throw, but he had a good lead, and he was moving pretty quick.
So now 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs here with a runner in scoring position for the Chiefs. The pitch is swung on and missed. That's the second strikeout there from Gruno. And that will do it for the top of the 9th. And 1 hit for the Chiefs. No errors, 1 left on base, and 1 run scored there in the 9th inning. The Hoppers will try to get back in this ball game. Their last chance, 3 more outs for them. As checking the manpower of Hopkinsville scoreboard, heading to the bottom of the 9th. The Chiefs lead the Hoppers 9-6. This is Hopper Baseball brought to you by Chick-fil-A.
Untangling.
Welcome back here in the bottom of the 9th inning. The Hoppers are trailing the Chiefs 9-6 here. Sam Perkins at the plate. Hoppers with their 9-1-2 batters here to start this 9th inning. And in the 8th inning, all 3 batters were struck out by Joe Pekka, as he's done an impeccable job here. No pun intended.
I was just about to say, impeccable job. No, I will say this: all 3 of those strikeouts in the last inning were highly disagreed upon.
Yeah, they said they were all struck out looking too.
By the Hoppers fans, did not appreciate, I don't think, any 3 of them, which was a little bit out of the ordinary. This group of fans wasn't this vocal last night, and tonight they are just all over.
2-1, and then you talk about it too. Yesterday's game wasn't supposed to be a home game, and people already had prior plans. As that pitch is called a strike, looking there, 2-2 the count. So this was what people had marked on their calendars as the first home game against the Paducah Chiefs. So
and
it's a Friday night too.
It was a good showing tonight.
Again, over 400 people in attendance. And a swing and a miss there as Perkins strikes out for the first out of the bottom of the 9th. 2 more for the Hoppers, again trailing 9-6. And this is some good speed to have in a situation like this, as Muto has to reach on base first, of course, but he already has 2 stolen bases in this ball game.
Yeah, all you need from a guy like Muto is to get on base here.
High ball there. 1-0 the count. On deck is Keebler for the Hoppers. That pitch is called a strike. Again, I want to give a shout out to this game's sponsor, United Southern Bank. Also, thanks to Judge John Atkins, as he's providing the post-game meal for the Hoppers. 1 ball, 1 strike, and that ball's tipped off the bat behind home plate to make it a 1-2 count here for Muto. Again, Kato Muto, an incoming freshman, heading to Vanderbilt University out of Bowling Green, Kentucky. 1-2 count here, 1 out. The pitch is outside the glove and high. Called the ball there to even the count at 2 apiece. 1 out already here in the bottom of the 9th inning as the Hoppers trail 9-6, trying to avoid back-to-back losses here on the season. The pitch is tipped off the bat again. Bit of a late swing there, but was able to put a bat on the ball to keep this count the same at 2-2. The 2-2 pitch is another strikeout looking. And that is 5 strikeouts in a row against the Hoppers, all coming for Pekka.
Yeah, and they've all been around the same spot, the low end of that strike zone, and he's just working the zone.
And if you're Keebler, you have to know that now. You have one more out left. You can't let go out with the little strike looking here, especially in that same spot when you know the ump's been calling it. That same pitch right there, it's that outside corner for a strike for the first pitch. And the 0-1 count here with 2 outs. Swing and a miss there. Now 0-2 here with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 9th. At the plate, John Keebler, 0-2. That one is hit near right field, and it's a diving catch right in front of him. Right there, a nice job from the right fielder, and that will do it for the ball game. As Bingham there does a good job of diving for that catch. And at the end of that 9th inning, no hits, no errors, none left on base, and no runs score. Your final score, 9-6. The Chiefs defeat the Hoptown Hoppers, the Chiefs out of Paducah. We'll take a timeout. When we come back, we'll have our post-game show here on News Radio 99.3 FM, 1230 a.m. And welcome back here. Jamar Perkins joined by Ethan Alexander. Final score here at Christian County Field as the Paducah Chiefs come into town to take down the Hoptown Hoppers 9-6. And the game summary brought to you by North Trust Insurance, serving Medicare customers with prescription drug plans, Medicare supplement plans, and Medicare Advantage. Visit them today at 305 North Drive or call 270-885-0811. And Ethan, a tough game for the Hoppers. Once again, found themselves leading to end up coming out. So what would you say is kind of going, your analysis of the game, if you'd explain that to me, what do you think kind of happened on this field tonight?
Yeah, I mean, the Hoppers kind of had a lesser version of what happened yesterday. They got up to a 4-1 lead early in this game, and then those middle innings when they were looking for pitching consistency was what killed them. And the Chiefs score 6 runs in those 4th and 5th innings. And after that, the Hoppers never really got back in the game. They stayed close, but the offense kind of weaned off for the last 4 innings, 0 runs in those last 4 innings for the Hoppers. So, yeah, like I said, a lesser version of what we saw yesterday, but those middle innings, whenever the Hoppers couldn't find pitching, is whenever the game caught up with them.
You know, you mentioned that in yesterday's game, it was 12 combined runs between that 4th through 6th inning. And that 4th and 5th inning, it got a bit scary as they scored 3 in each of those innings. But, I mean, you talk about that. That was kind of it. And you look at it, that nice collection of runs combined. And Hoppers really started off well. We talked about that 3-0 lead at the bottom of the first. Then kind of made it a 4-1 lead at the bottom of the second, too. But Chiefs kind of just stayed in it the whole way. And then once they kind of took the lead, they didn't really let go. And that was really what happened. But moving forward, of course, got 2 road games now for the Hoppers. They'll be taking on Clarksville. And I know you talk about this is an early start. You know, you kind of look at these games like just trying to build chemistry. But no team wants to start off the season losing 3 games in a row. So with that, what would you say this team needs to do here in Clarksville tomorrow?
I mean, yeah, in a perfect world, you have your pitcher go out there and pitch more than, 2 or 3 innings. And, we've seen arms, we've seen hitters. The coaches probably have a decent feel of who they want to pitch where and who they want to hit when. And maybe tomorrow we'll see a little bit longer runs. We won't see 7 pitchers, and maybe we'll see 2 or 3 that can get us through a game. Because at the end of the day, the best way for these guys to find their rhythm is to stay on the mound.
And again, we'll talk about our player of the game coming up. We'll take a quick timeout, talk more about what's up to come for the Hoppers. Again, the final score in this ball game was 9-6 as the Chiefs defeated the Hoppers. We'll come back and wrap things up after this timeout.
And sponsors, Bikes and More, All Clean Services, Higgins Insurance, Huggard, Beard, and Giles. Thanks again, and go Hoppers.
News Radio WHOP.
And welcome back here. Final score, the Paducah Chiefs come into town and take down the Hoptown Hoppers 9-6 in a game where the Hoppers jumped out in front, had a 3-0 lead at the bottom of the first and even a 4-1 lead at the bottom of the second. But it was 6 combined runs in between the 4th and 5th inning and a couple more runs towards the end that really gave the Chiefs the edge. And in a game where you talk about a player of the game, which our player of the game is brought to you by Skyline Animal Clinic and Oak Grove Animal Hospital, who supports all the area schools, athletes, and students. Skyline Animal Clinic has been your source of veterinary care for small animals since 1956. Call them today for all your pets' veterinary needs. I kind of already feel like there's a shoe-in for the player of the game. I like to ask you, who's your player of the game, Ethan?
Tonight's Hoptown Hoppers player of the game is Robert Estrada. He finished the game with 3 hits and that fantastic defensive play from right field when we got that runner out at home. He was probably the most consistent player on offense for the Hoppers tonight, and then that big play on defense kind of sealed it for him. Overall, one of better performances. Last night he played great, mainly on defense, but tonight we got to see him in his offense shine. So player of the game is Robert Estrada.
Robert Estrada, like you mentioned, was a player that played yesterday, so definitely making his name as probably a common starter for this squad, and he's proving it out there, making big plays on offense and defense. Again, the player of the game was brought to you by Skyline Animal Clinic and Oak Grove Animal Hospital. Coming up for the Hoppers, they will play the Clarksville Whirlybirds tomorrow. That'll be a 7:05 game. And then they'll also travel on Sunday to play the Full Count Rhythm and then get ready for next week. I mean, we've got 5 home games in a row. Starting with Tuesday, they'll take on the Bowling Green Pistons again. So a lot of action coming in. Or excuse me, I want to change that as well, as after talking to John Bruce, that Owensboro River Dogs game on Thursday, I'm assuming it will be canceled due to them not being able to play the season. So not 5 games in a row, but it'll be Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday action going on there. And, of course, like you mentioned, you can check out that game tomorrow and Sunday. Won't be on WHOP, but it will be on YouTube on the Hoptown Hoppers TV channel. Am I correct?
Yes, that is correct. The Hoptown Hoppers TV YouTube channel will be live streaming all the away games this season. You can also find those shared on the Facebook page, Hoptown Hoppers Baseball. So whenever we go to away games and WHOP isn't there to cover it, you can find it on Hoptown Hoppers TV.
Again, the final score, the Paducah Chiefs defeat the Hoptown Hoppers 9-6. I want to give a big thanks to Jeff Sisk and Bruce Smiley for helping set up things for Ethan Alexander. I'm Jamar Perkins saying so long. Make sure